Israel has secured through mechanisms of blackmail. Somebody like Destiny.
Not a single thing I've said has been dead wrong.
The claim wasn't that they ran off to Israel. The claim was that Israel doesn't cooperate with the U.S. for extradition, right?
That's correct. None of them have been sent back to America. FBI actually put up a $1 million award to bring back the killer of O'Day. This was a crime committed in California, and the FBI's put up a $1 million for their return.
Why are you linking pictures? The $1 million reward is for information leading to the killing of O'Day. That's it. That's what's in your article. So do you acknowledge you were wrong on that? You said that there were people charged with crimes that weren't being extradited. Neither of these guys have been charged with a crime, and the $1 million reward wasn't for them, it was for information about the killing of O'Day. Hold on, I'm so sorry, wait. It looks like the bombing suspect of the guy that did kill this dude actually was extradited. Looks like Robert Manning leaves Israel to face trial. This has completely destroyed your argument. You're mad about something you don't even know what it is.
Hold on here. You're a truth teller. Chill, bro.
Candace ever respond? I can join, but if I even am allowed in, it's probably going to be like insta-muting, but we can try it, sure.
Deception, and he spoke about this, that believe
cute.
that their motto is that you can deceive and you can get what you want, and turning kind of nations against each other, but you're kind of like the hand that's orchestrating all of that. You know, when you hear that and you hear all of this, Andrew, how does that make you feel as somebody who, you know, believes in Zionism as a political philosophy?
Well, I agree. I agree with what you've been saying in that these are people who are co-opting all of Jewry, all of Judaism, and trying to make it their voice. Like Netanyahu, when he held up a Talmud, Netanyahu doesn't even keep Shabbat. You can go and look up what the Torah says about not keeping Shabbat and what the penalty is that for a Jew. So Netanyahu holding up the Talmud, he's insincere. And these psychos and these NWO freaks that want to co-opt all of Jews and hold us up as a human shield. That's why I'm doing this. I agree with your theory that these people are trying to speak for us, and they should not be allowed to speak for us. And I want to thank Dan for retracting his call for war, because what we need is peace. The only thing at the RNC that was discussed was bombing Iran. Libertarians were saying, this is before Trump was shot at. So Dave Smith, libertarian, you know, they got to answer for their.
All right, Andrew, quick question, if you don't mind again. I have many. I'm sure as an...
I don't know why this is so laggy. I don't know if I can listen. Or maybe we're going to listen over here. Maybe it won't lag over here.
A monumental failure of intelligence, which is, of course, impossible, but let's pretend it happened organically. The chance of it happening again must be near zero. So surely peace is just to stop blowing up the children, right? That's peace. What can the Palestinians do? They're going to get across the border again, or they're going to get more paragliders. Is that what we believe? Surely peace is just to stop blowing up the kids right now. Bam, done, if they want peace.
Correct.
And stop invading the West Bank as well, stealing.
That's right. So if they stop killing everybody, and if they stop invading and taking people's land, then the peace comes, right? So surely the burden of peace is on the Israelis who are failing, correct?
And the only way we're going to get to that is, as I believe Dave Smith said, if we don't have American support for war, it will inevitably end in peace. So everybody listening to this can literally help create peace by supporting Trump, but with the premise he must be the pro-peace president that we elected in 2016. And I'm not Israeli, but I'll attempt to answer all of it. I think that we absolutely have to look at Israel as a nation state dependent on us. We're giving them aid, we're giving them weapons. So if they're dependent on us, then it's up to us to create the peace. And the only way you're going to get that, call for peace, demand both sides start engaging in it, and look to who are possibly going to be the next president of the United States. Kamala Harris, part of the complete globalist cabal, total puppet. They want war. They want to divide and conquer all of us. Trump, who's an independent, literally was shot at. The CIA definitely involved. The Secret Service stood down. So that is a man that's for peace. And all of the people in the dissident right that's, I don't know if I'm going to vote. By the way, I hate Israel. If you hate Israel, why would you not vote for the only man that gives us a chance at peace? And that's one of the big reasons I like talking about this. We have a chance to create peace right now. And I think people are a little unfocused on how to get there.
Why don't you feel, or why do you think that AIPAC does not have to register with FARA?
I don't feel that at all. They should.
Okay, but why do you think that is? Because, I mean, a logical extension of the fact that AIPAC does not have to register with FARA, you can go to trackapac.com and see how every single senator on both sides of the dichotomy is taking money from Israel. Surely we're an occupied nation, and Israel is effectively running the American government currently. Would you agree?
I think they're one of many factions. People don't talk about the Qatar money. There's a whole great documentary called Blood Money by my friends John Dutoit and Scooter Downey.
Well, I know this very well. Qatar invests in infrastructure projects, and they try and use that political leverage to get what they want, because that's what investment is. Investment's not being a nice person. Investment is typically building infrastructure and then trying to lean on it politically, and every single nation in the world does that. But Qatar doesn't openly hand piles of cash to senators.
I don't know that that's true. I think you should watch the documentary Blood Money, and they're not the only ones, by the way. We are puppeted by people. Stop talking about the British like they have no influence. They literally sent a spy, Christopher Steele, to try and derail the Trump administration. So there's the British, there's the Chinese, there's Qatar. There's all number of players in this global NWO trying to puppet the America, steer us off course. Israel, there is an issue there, obviously, but to focus on them solely and not look at, okay, there's this wide range of issues. That's how we are getting divided and conquered. They use our momentum.
I understand your point.
What you're saying.
Sorry, go on, Dan.
I was just, what you're saying sounds great, like this whole peace thing and blah, blah, blah. And, it's also these guys. But we're not fighting wars for the UK. We're not fighting wars for Saudi. Like, if you look at how we are acting and who is controlling our country, it all points back to Israel. I mean, Epstein Island was not an accident. Like, him being killed was not an accident. Nobody being prosecuted wasn't an accident. Like, that was a Mossad operation, so they have dirt on our U.S. politicians. And because of that, because of this dirt, because of these bribes, because of the money that's coming in,
how long we wait?
they're controlling
I'll
our
sit here until
government. And that's the
4:25.
source of the problem. Saying, we're going to tell Trump that we want peace, and then Trump's going to have peace. It's just bullshit. I mean, it sounds great and whatever, but that's not the real world. The real world is these people are controlling our government, and that's not going to fucking stop by us telling Trump he needs to call.
And I'll say that that was the only government.
Sorry, to piggyback what Dan said, I think there's another very important point. You talk about a UK spy. Well, espionage is illegal. And you talk about Qatari blood money. Well, that's once again illegal. People went to jail for that. I think in the EU, they tried to bribe somebody with cash and people went to jail. The point we're making here is that AIPAC can do this with impunity, legal impunity, and they're the only people who can do it. So why is Israel allowed to bribe our politicians and own our government with legal impunity? And any other nation that attempts to do that at least will face consequences of the law. Why can Israel just buy us?
I don't agree they're the only ones allowed to do it without impunity. Fang Fang is a Chinese spy. We all know her name. No charges ever for anything like that. So just because you're saying that, AIPAC isn't forced to register.
Yes, I did. I'm on my main account. I don't know why you retards think I'm logged into my alternate account over here. I'm not requesting on my alternate account over here. It's a different account on my main computer.
One point? Come on. Let me finish one point. Dan Bilzerian saying that the only country we're going to war with is Israel. If you forget, the Taliban were destroying the opium in Afghanistan. We went to Afghanistan to protect the opium. That money got laundered through HSBC. That money goes straight to the UK, Britain. So if you think the only nation puppeting us for war is Israel, you're just not that deep into this. No offense.
I did also want to speak about the blanket statement when people say Israel's the most moral army in the world, because that's another one that I'm just trying to comprehend why people started saying that. Back in 2002, I believe it was, the Israeli troops decided to take over Palestinian TV stations and start playing pornography as a weapon of war. And when you consider that being used as a weapon of war,
has this ever happened? Can somebody source me this? I don't believe a single thing she says.
Of the introduction of pornography into American
without fact checking it.
And please correct me, Andrew, if I'm wrong. Is pornography still banned in Israel? Do they eventually ban pornography?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Okay, I'm not positive on that. But some of these issues, then you talk about, blackmail, pornography, and we know for a fact that there have been tons of, blackmail things that have taken place, whether they involve the Mossad. And of course, talking about Jeffrey Epstein, we do know the Mossad was involved in that. And there's absolutely no accountability. Do you think the reason for that is because Israel has secured through mechanisms of blackmail a stranglehold on all the people that are in office today? And by the way, I believe that there are some commentators who, and I'm, somebody like Destiny who's popped up here, which is I won't have him on because I don't think it's fair to the Zionist lobby to have on a sexual deviant as a representative.
Got it. Gotcha.
But I will say
All
that,
right, there we go.
I believe that they have, they're capturing.
All right, they have no argument. So the one talking point that they're bringing up here, the idea that AFPAC or not AFPAC, that AIPAC doesn't register as a foreign agent or register as FARA or FARA. The reason why is because it's a domestic U.S. lobbying group. There's no reason they would have to, but none of them know that. They assume that it takes money from the Israeli government. There's no proof of that. It's a lobbying firm that exists in the United States. You have no evidence, no proof that they take money from the Israeli government. If Israel was going to funnel money illegally into the United States, why would you do it with a thing that has to do with advocating for Israel? Why wouldn't you funnel it illegally to other things that aren't screaming Israeli lobbyist group? Yeah. She brought up the, what was the other thing? The USS Liberty. People think that Israel blew up the USS Liberty intentionally during the 6-Day War I heard different reasons why, either because they say that Israel's trying to bait America into the war, or because America was observing horrific war crimes that Israel didn't want the world to see, so they blew it up. Yeah, but there's no proof or evidence of this happening intentionally either. Yeah, it's all just dumb conspiracy shit. This is Myron's Twitter space.
Because basically what you find in America is there can be people, let me just give someone as an example, Laura Loomer, who can destroy the United States or her akin in Britain, destroy it because she hasn't applied for the citizenship.
I really want to be
if
here.
She did apply for it, she would get it immediately based on the supremacist ideology of the right to return.
Yeah, we have to,
and therefore she could destroy America for the next 20, 30 years and then say, by the way, I'm an Ashkenazi Jew, I can have a right to return, and then she'll go, and based on supremacy, she'll automatically get that stamped, and therefore she will be back into Israel.
Okay, let me answer that in contemporary
So what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I see what you mean, Suleiman. Okay.
I'll answer that in contemporary context. I have a Muslim friend in Tunis who lived in Ramallah, and he reads Hebrew documents to me. And 500,000 Israelis have left since October 7th, especially with the imminent attack of Iran, which is not going to happen, by the way. They're going to do point-by-point assassinations if they do anything. Okay, so now 500,000 Israelis have left. Well, they're coming here. They have to be denied citizenship. We cannot allow them to have automatic citizenship, these Jews, because they're going to start taking over the country too.
500,000?
I don't trust them. So we have to revoke
500,000 Israelis are trying to immigrate to the United States? Source?
Jews coming here from Israel.
Hello?
We shouldn't even allow them to come in, but we have to begin practically by not allowing them immediate citizenship.
Yeah, no, Brother Nathaniel, I see your perspective here. I think what Suleiman is saying is that it's because let's say someone is an American, right? They have an American passport and they're in the United States. Well, but they're Jewish, right? They can go ahead and get an Israeli passport in the future. So I know what you mean now with the right of return. He's saying not only do you need to keep people from having a government clearance while they're American citizen, we also need to put something in there where you can't go ahead and apply for an Israeli passport in the future and use your right of return ability to obtain that passport. Because theoretically, you can get a clearance with your American passport. Then 5-6 years down the road, after you did your background check, go ahead and get a
Israeli let me answer that.
under the table.
Let me answer that.
Yeah.
Send them the hell back to Israel and let the Muslim world take care of them. I give Israel 6 years and they'll finish them off. They're hated. How'd you like to plop yourself in the middle of the neighborhood and at 10 miles around you, everyone hates your guts? I give Israel 6 years, gonzo. Then the Palestinians can have it all. But if Israel were to disappear tonight, the Jews would still be in power here in America. 10 miles around you, everyone hates money legally.
Myron, with all due respect, he still didn't answer the question. And so you see, it's still the, you know what I mean, the tap dancing around the question. Sorry.
It's fine. I think we all know where we stand with this situation. I think the right of return is a very valid thing to bring up where if you're an American citizen and you have a clearance, they need to sign a contract or something where they're not going to go ahead and obtain a Israeli passport. I think the whole.
No, but how would that contract work, Myron? Because, like, let's say hypothetically, they were in America.
I'll tell you, Suleiman, how it would work. Once you have a clearance in the United States, the government owns you, bro. So if you want to go, because it's on you, like you have to do what they say to get the clearance. So you can absolutely put that on paper where if you're an Israeli, right, you could put in like a little excerpt in there. Hey, if you're of Jewish descent and you have the ability to obtain an Israeli passport, you must commit to not obtaining a Israeli passport while you have while you try to get a clearance. And they could put in stipulations in there, 1,001 false statements, whatever the fuck it may be. Because if you want to get a clearance, bro, they own you. So they can easily put that in there.
What is he talking about? They own you. Can somebody explain that?
Jewish people who, and again, by the way, I'm not being anti-Semitic, I'm just telling you this is like the reality of the situation, who have used Israel for sanctuary, and
your security,
for example, we talked about.
Is it an SF-86 you fill out? Like they can lapse and then you.
What could get clearance in the United States for 20 or 30 years, destroy the United States, and then even if they sign that document, go to Israel and say like, no, you can't get me.
No. Of course, and that's where America needs to get stiff with Israel and say, look, if we have someone that we've given a clearance before and they get a right of passage passport through you, you must give them back to us so they're not safe. Which that can all be done. You know what I mean? Like I said before, when you try to get a clearance in the American government, they absolutely own you. And we got Destiny in the space too. What up, Destiny?
Can you explain what do you mean by they absolutely own you? You fill out your SF-86, your security clearance can lapse. What do you mean by they own you?
Okay, so when you go ahead and you try to get a security clearance, they pretty much own you, bro. When you do your SF-86 or SF-56, and you have to fill out, because to get a clearance, you have to disclose who you've lived with before. You have to disclose all foreign nationals that you know, depending on the type of clearance. If you're trying to get a top secret or a top
I'm aware of all of this, but how do they own you? You could just let your security clearance lapse. They don't have any futures there. You could quit your job and.
If you want to stay employed, you have to get it every 5 years. If you have an SCI, every 3 years.
Sure, but again, they don't own you. Like you can still have you can date foreign people, you can do everything else. Like you just have to make the disclosures, the proper disclosures, right?
No. But if the prerequisite is to get the clearance, it's on you to satisfy what they want of the background check.
I understand, but how does that mean they own you? You just have to make sure you can pass a pretty easy, pretty simple background check.
It's not. That's the problem. It's not simple, Destiny. It takes 6 to 8 months for them to clear you.
If it takes months to clear you, it's just because of the paperwork process. It's not difficult to get a clearance. It's not difficult to pass an SF-86.
It's absolutely hard, bro. If that was the case, then everybody running around with clearance, it's not easy to get a top secret clearance at all.
Okay. The people I've dated and talked to in the past who work for private companies, like everybody that works for a lot of the private,
what was their position? Who did they work for?
Systems engineer, Lockheed Martin, did satellite work. I can't say more than that, but like SF-86 is like...
They might have had a secret maybe, or they might have not even had a clearance.
They absolutely had a clearance because I got a phone call from the government to verify my background. I don't think it's very difficult as long as you're not doing weird shit. I've never in my life heard somebody that has worked in a federal agency or for the military that said it's super hard to pass an SF-86. You just have to make sure you're not doing weird, crazy shit.
That's the thing, bro. A lot of times you get a polygraph, you get a thorough background check, you get a drug test. You were just one of many people that they interview. Like if you have they do a full financial background check on you. If your credit is fucked up, that's going to be a huge issue. That's going to keep you from getting a clearance.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that nothing that you're saying is that difficult. As long as you're like an upstanding American, you don't have any crazy, outstanding criminal shit or any insane shit going on, you'll pass. Like you'll be fine.
You'd be surprised at how many people would not qualify because they have bad credit, they've done drugs in the past, etc. All that stuff will disqualify you.
Doing drugs in the past won't, but having a drug conviction might, sure. But that's going to be true of any federal job.
Drugs in the past will absolutely disqualify.
How will they know if you've done drugs if you don't have
because you get a polygraph.
Destiny. Look, man. Outside of marijuana, like recreational marijuana usage, a lot of the times, like if you have drug use, it's gonna disqualify you.
How will they know?
The polygraph.
First of all, not all of them require a poly. Number one. Number two. I'm just looking at this. I'm curious what the fail rate is. Like I've never heard of these being difficult to pass. Just as a quick Google, it looks like 2 to 4% people will fail a. According to the national security law firm, about 1% of applicants are denied a security clearance. I've never in my life heard this claim that a security clearance is hard to pass. This is just not true. If you want to bring any other military person, I promise you, that security clearance is not. It's not a difficult thing to pass at SF-86.
What security clearance you're getting, bro? A lot of the people in the military.
Yeah, if you're going like TS-SCI, you're doing some crazy CIA shit. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more stringent requirements.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to have a TS or an SCI secret compartmentalized information, it's gonna be a hard background check, bro. Like I'm telling you, man, it's not easy like you think. They do a full background check. Here's the other thing: when they go out and interview people, they interview the people that you put on your list. Then they go out and interview people outside of that. And then let's say one of them slips up and says, "Oh yeah, we used to smoke pot all the time, or we did drugs here, blah blah." They're gonna come back and ask you questions about that. And they find out that you lied about that because you're probably gonna check off, "I've never done drugs." And then they find that you have lack of candor. Boom, you're done. You're out of.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, nobody can admit to doing drugs, of course, right? Yeah, I understand that. Hopefully, if a guy's filling out an SF-86, he'll call you first. He'll say, "Hey, I put you as a reference. Don't bring up the drug shit, by the way."
No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're going to go talk to people beyond that, because what they do is they go like 2 to 3 layers beyond the people that you put on your list.
Okay, I would be shocked if I heard any other military or like federal employee verify that any of this is that hard to pass.
Dude,
I've never heard this in my entire life.
References probably have Mickey Mouse clearances, bro. That's why they didn't get pressed that hard.
My guess would be that my ex, given her job, probably had a higher security clearance than you would. That would be my guess. Given that she was working with stuff relating to space, given that the customer of Lockheed Martin is the United States of America, and given that she was working on projects that had direct implications for national security, I'm almost positive that I'm pretty sure she had an SCI clearance. But I'm just saying that like the idea that they own you just because you do a security clearance, they don't own you. You could just quit your job and then you're done. They don't own you.
That's fine. But if you want to get the clearance, they do own you, and you go through a very thorough background check. So your friend passed the background check, but that does not necessarily mean that the background check wasn't hard on her. Just because they interviewed you and then she told you, "I passed," that doesn't mean that the background check was easy. Like in general, she might have passed it easy for her, but a lot of people don't get clearances, bro, for a bunch of different reasons. It's not as easy to get as you think it is. Trust me.
Okay, what is it when you say own you? What does that mean when you say own you? They do a background check, but they don't own any. They don't force you to do anything. They don't own you.
Destiny is derailing your conversation here.
1000%.
Yeah, you're totally derailing it, bro. When I say that they own you, you're like literally you're looking at it. Literally, what I am saying is that you must succumb to the background check. You must go in for the interviews. You must go in for the polygraph test. You must submit to all the drug testing. You must provide them the people to ask questions to. They can bring you in as many times they want to ask you questions. The background check could take 6 to 8 months. You want to stay employed, you have to continuously get background checks. You have to continuously do drug tests. So yes, they do own you in that sense. That's what I mean.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to clarify what you mean by that. What is the rule here that nobody with dual citizenship then should be allowed to have like any kind of security clearance, or?
Yes. That's the argument that we're making, yes. I don't think anyone that has a security clearance should have any dual allegiance to any foreign nation ever.
And then what is the rationale for that? Because we feel like they might show more allegiance to a foreign nation than the United States.
Because they'll likely commit treason.
They'll be traitors.
Like various dual nationals have done so in the State Department, such as David Wormser, Doug Faith, Richard Pearl, Paul Wolfowitz, and I can go on.
Gotcha. Do we agree that like
Israel's interest first?
Do you think that everybody that's a Muslim should be denied citizenship, since any kind of like global jihad or any kind of calls from like imam or like anything like that?
Clear about positions of power, right? It's not based on Jewish religion. They can practice a religion. It's about whether they're going to be dual nationals.
Well, sure, but I'm talking about like if somebody is a devout, if somebody's a devout, that's great. But if somebody's like a devout follower of Islam, if a foreign imam like gave some kind of like call to jihad or something,
he's derailing.
I'm not derailing. I'm asking. Wouldn't you be?
Destiny, I'll answer your question. 1 second, guys.
Everybody, be quiet for 2 seconds. Let me be very clear. Me and Destiny disagree on almost everything. He hates me, I hate him, but I respect him as a peer. And I invited him here, and he's here as a guest, and I like the guy. I get along with him, even though we disagree on everything. So please let's show him a little bit of respect. He's not like these typical guys that come in here to be pieces of shit like Destiny, even though we disagree. So please let's let him get his question out. Go ahead, Destiny, please.
Yeah, so he asked us. Let me answer that question. Destiny, I think we spoke about this in the debate on Fresh and Fit, and I think you conceded the point that dual citizenship. So it's not dual religions. Like you can be any religion. The point is, if there's a Muslim, as an example, who was in the United States, and then he also had citizenship of another Muslim country, it can be Iraq, Iran, Saudi, then they also should not be able to hold office. So the situation carries.
Well, no, I'm not talking about citizenship. I'm saying just simply being a Muslim. Like the question would be, if you were a Muslim in the United States of America and some imam or whatever leader of whatever your sect made some kind of declaration for a global jihad or jihad against a country outside of the United States, you would be obligated to follow that religious teaching over anything in the US, right?
I mean, that's not true. There's no such thing as there being an imam who everybody follows. That it isn't like, it's not like Catholicism where you have like some kind of pope who's basically in charge of the entire Muslim masses. That's why I gave the example of
Suleiman, has
Judaism
that
and
ever
Islam being very
happened
similar.
before?
Just like Judaism doesn't have like a pope figure. You can't just take what one rabbi said and then say, I'm gonna blame all Jews and now all Jews are a threat, because then that means a lot of the videos that are posted online where a rabbi said some mental stuff, that every Jew is accountable. So the same thing is applied to Islam. Hence why we talked about citizenship as opposed to being a follower or practitioner of a religion.
So then who is the Ayatollah?
So
that's Iran.
The Ayatollah is Iran, the whole country? What is his position
He's the
in...
supreme leader of Iran only.
Truth. If I may,
do you even know the difference between Sunnis and Shiites?
I'm pretty sure it has to do with the disagreement over whether or not Muhammad himself named his direct descendants or not. Shias believe that he did. I think Sunnis
then you would know. Then you know exactly
nice
what
try.
Iran.
Hey, nice try, dipshit. Hey, nice try, dipshit. So you're telling me that there are no religious leaders in Islam that people look to for like a call
Not
to
in
war?
the same way as the Pope.
I didn't say in the same way as a Pope, but I'm saying that if you're a Muslim,
that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
but that's nobody's asking that question.
The Ayatollah only represents Iran and Iran's interests. Nobody looks to him for religious guidance. That's not what his representation is. He's just a representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran. That's it.
But it's also Shiites, and they're only 15% of the population.
So should Shiites be banned from holding? Should Shiites be banned from having security clearances?
Can I just ask
I
why
don't
we're
think so,
even
but-
debating a hypothetical rather than addressing the actual issue that currently is presently in power here in the West? Like, why even ramble down this path unless it's purely just to derail and distract from the conversation?
Well, because I think in the United States, as long as you can pass an...
Talk about AIPAC.
Hold on, guys. Myron has already made it clear that Destiny was invited as a guest, and he wants him to be able to speak. So stop doing the derailing accusations and stuff, and let him speak.
I mean, it is though. Like, we're not being disrespectful by saying.
That's fine. But
I like watching the show
space.
too.
Yeah, but it's Myron's space, and he wants his rules. So.
Would you agree, though, that it's silly to debate a hypothetical rather than addressing the real factual reality that we all live in at the moment and can see all around us? It seems like a waste of time.
Well, sure. The real factual reality is if there's no like constitutional restriction on who can serve in the government or who can have a security clearance, as long as you can pass the security clearance background, I don't know why would we restrict it on people who have dual
AIPAC
citizenship.
should be registered with FARA, Destiny, but it's not.
Why should AIPAC be registered with FARA?
Because
they were going to be until John F. Kennedy was murdered, who had the intentions of making that a reality.
Wait, why would they register? It's a domestic lobbying firm.
All right, hold on.
No, wait. It's not a foreign lobbying firm. It's domestic.
Hold on. Because I already know that we're going to go down the rabbit hole once we get into FARA. Before we get into FARA, because I know this is a topic that Destiny actually is knowledgeable about. Before we get into this FARA thing, I just want to understand with the citizenship thing.
Not really at all.
Destiny, our stance is simply this. You cannot have dual citizenship to a foreign nation. That means carrying another passport, etc., and have a government clearance. That's our only stance. That's irrespective of religion. I don't care what your religion is, what you practice. We're talking strictly nationality and holding a clearance in the United States. That's our stance. Do you agree or disagree with that? You disagree, right?
Yeah, I feel like I would disagree because it feels like if that's the goal, what we're trying to do is we're trying to prevent people that would have loyalty to another nation. But
yes.
Yeah, but the reality is that like if somebody was going to defect to another country or do some crazy shit like that, they just wouldn't have the dual citizenship, right? You would just like Russia would make a promise like with Assange or Snowden, they'd say like, oh, okay, well, if you do some shit, like we'll take you afterwards. Like they'd never have dual citizenship in the first place.
Okay, I see your argument. Well, the thing is that when you have a clearance, etc., right? Like, well, okay, I'm not going to go too much into this, but put it this way, your travel is monitored. So if you want to go ahead and do any of this stuff, it's going to be a lot harder for you to travel, especially to an adversarial country while you have a clearance.
Sure, but I mean, if that was the case, I'd rather have people just have the dual citizenship because then at least it's on the heads up more, right? Oh, this guy's a dual citizen between here and Canada or here in Israel or here Iran, well, not Iran, but you know, whatever the fuck. So I don't know if you're I'm sorry, I don't know if Canada's dual citizenship, but I'm just saying like you would know then, right?
No, I understand that, but like you got to understand Destiny, that like if you have a clearance, there's no other country that you can have a dual citizenship unless it's Israel. You must renounce all citizenships to any other country except for Israel. That's the issue. It's not equal across the board.
Is that true? Okay, I'll look into that more, I guess.
Fair enough, no worries. Okay, now I guess you guys want to go on to FARA.
Well, Myron, before we go to FARA, with all due respect, again, if I could ask you, when we say that, though, about just it being with the passports, then now the argument for Biden's cabinet kind of goes out the water because I don't think that they have a passport with Israel. But Anthony Blinken went to Israel as a Jew. Janet Yellen, all of, you already know
You
the
don't have to
list.
have a passport to be a dual citizen.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah, some of them are dual citizens without passports. You can absolutely be there's a lot of Americans that don't have passports, but they're American citizens. So,
like papers, are we saying papers or are we saying right to return? That's all I'm saying.
it could be either or. The right to return obviously is done before they take on and gain that citizenship, but then some of them actually have dual citizenship.
Okay, just also as a quick thing, so I don't see anywhere where it says you have to be only like an Israeli dual citizen. It seems like for the State Department, dual citizenship will be continue to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. There's no blanket rule regarding dual citizenship. I don't know where this came from or this idea.
Translation.
Interesting that there's no other dual citizens besides Israelis.
Hold on.
That's very interesting, though.
Yeah, Destiny. I'm here to. I'm telling you, bro. You cannot have especially you want to be a special agent or have a clearance or something like that. You cannot have a citizenship of another country. Israel's the only country that you can have it. That's why they put case by case to create the illusion like it's okay.
Wait, so then if I can find a single dual citizen that has a security clearance, then your argument is defeated, or what is the?
Then I'd ask you what's their position.
Yeah, a lot of the times they're allowed to have it.
That means that they're probably not doing anything serious or they have a mediocre clearance. But if you're going to have a top secret or SCI, they're absolutely going to make you renounce that citizenship. And the only citizenship you'll probably be able to maintain with that type of clearance is probably Israel, and that's it.
Okay, just as a quick question, because Elon Musk, I'm sure he must have some crazy clearances now. Is he still a citizen of South Africa, or has he renounced that citizenship?
I don't know. I don't know if he has a clearance. Keep in mind
Elon Musk is an entrepreneur. He's not in a political position.
We weren't talking about political position. We were talking about security clearances. You don't think Elon Musk, the guy that does Starlink and works to launch spaceships, you don't think he has a super high security clearance?
He might not, bro. Because keep in mind, the president doesn't even know about certain shit that's going on with UFOs or whatever. Everything in the government, dude, is need to know and extremely compartmentalized. So since he's in a CEO position, he's not there in a day-to-day and looking at shit going on. He might very well not have a clearance, bro. He might not.
Huh.
Very probable.
Okay.
That he doesn't have one. Or it's a low-level security clearance. Because the way the government works is they give you the security simply for what you need to know for your job. So I wouldn't be surprised if he either has no clearance or a low-level security, and that he's only able to access certain things. Because remember, he's in a managerial CEO position. He's not there day-to-day dealing with the new tech and all this other shit. So, but anyway, I know you guys want to get onto FARA, so I'll just kind of dead it there. I know you guys want to talk about FARA. So the argument is that AIPAC
looks like he has some security clearance. I don't know if the government
creates issues in the United States. I know some people. I think Ian and Truth were going into it. Go ahead, Destiny. I know you have a thing on FARA. I watched a little bit of stream earlier. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just didn't understand the argument. Like if AIPAC is like a domestic lobbying firm and they lobby for whatever thing, as long as they're not accepting money from another country, I don't think they have to register with FARA. There's no transactions to register. There's a domestic lobbying thing, right?
Okay, well, it's not a domestic lobby. It represents a foreign interest, being a foreign power, and that country is Israel. So it represents Israel first, so it's not domestic anymore. And JFK did try to register AIPAC. Back then it was called the American Zionist Council with FARA. It was one of the reasons why they assassinated him.
Wait, what do you think domestic means?
Domestic means you should represent the interests of America.
No, that's not what that means. Domestic just means that it's like by U.S. citizens and it's got U.S. citizen money. It's domestic. You can have a domestic lobbying firm for Mexico.
That's your state, but the money actually does come from foreign entities as well, because many of the subversive interests that actually commit money towards AIPAC, actually many of them were Israeli Jewish gangsters. They're the ones who first funded the American Zionist Council, do actually derive their money from Israel as well, because they do have interests in Israel too. So it's not just domestic money that comes into AIPAC.
It doesn't matter if they derive money from Israel. What matters is who the donors are, right?
Oh, so now you're saying it's no longer domestic.
No, what I'm saying is that if I were to make money, from people in some other country or whatever, if I were to make money working at some other place, if I donated to a particular firm, if I donated to some lobbying group, I don't know if that lobbying group has to register my donations as being foreign transactions if I'm a domestic U.S. citizen. I don't think the sources of all my income have to flow through like that.
But that's not the purpose of what AIPAC is. AIPAC is there to represent Israel's interests. There's nothing domestic about AIPAC. You're trying to argue about where the source of the money comes from.
That's what it's about. That's what FARA is about. FARA is about...
FARA is supposed to... Exactly. So if Qatar or Saudi Arabia donate money to American universities, which they do, they are registered under FARA. They are a foreign entity now providing funds or just giving charitable donations to, say, various American entities. They're registered under FARA.
That's correct. But if there were Persians in the United States that wanted to create an organization called Students for, Iran or something, and they were to donate money to schools, they wouldn't have to register. They're American citizens. It doesn't matter if they're...
Well, first of all, that's another hypothetical, and you don't know that. You just made that up.
I know.
So
what do you think? FARA is for
FARA.
foreign agents. What do you think foreign means? It doesn't mean foreign interests. It means people that aren't U.S. citizens.
And Israel is a foreign agent.
But Israel is not AIPAC.
Just like Epstein, we're all
no,
you're just
you don't have
well,
to
let me add this, Destiny. I will say that Scott Ritter, who's an American citizen, he literally just got raided by the FBI for potential violations of the FARA Act, and he's an American citizen. But they look at it like, hey,
yeah, but hold on. If he got raided, was it because he was taking foreign money without disclosing it?
No. That's the crazy part. It was simply because he had contact with foreign dignitaries from Russia, and they didn't like that. And they're like, hey, you would have to register as a foreign agent because you have contact with Russia. But why do they do that? Because it's Russia. Versus we have people here lobbying openly for a foreign nation, and they could be American citizens. But just because you're an American citizen doesn't mean that you're not subject to FARA.
Hold on.
And we can see that with Scott Ritter, literally 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Wait. You're conflating the...
Destiny, before you carry on, I'd like to let you know what FARA's purpose is. Essential purpose of FARA is to promote transparency with respect to foreign influence within the United States by ensuring the U.S. government and the public know the source of the certain information from foreign agents intended to influence American public opinion and policy. So you see, AIPAC is 100% representative of Israel's interest, and there's nothing domestic about it.
It's to disclose their relationships, activities, and related financial compensation.
But if you look at what AIPAC actually does, it literally writes legislation for congressmen.
That doesn't matter.
It provides handlers for American congressmen. As Thomas Massey put it, each American congressman has one or two AIPAC handlers whom they consult as to what they can and can't say for press conferences, for instance.
Doesn't matter. None of that matters. None of that matters.
Compromised. Well, it does matter because now they all have to be Israel first. They all have to be able to provide Israel with funds consistently through foreign aid package at a minimum of $3.8 billion a year, irrespective of whether that is subversive or to the benefit of America. It's now unconditional allegiance.
It doesn't matter. If you wanted to, you could make a domestic firm where you talk about how cool the Soviet Union is or China is, and you register and you donate to people just to do Chinese talking points and everything. You wouldn't have to register with FARA if you're just Americans.
You're once again speaking in hypotheticals.
I'm not speaking. Why do you keep saying I'm speaking in hypotheticals? If you want to speak in actualities, AIPAC.
Name one. Name one what? Lobby that has undue influence on Congress, that provides handlers, as Thomas Massey put it.
Wait, that's not a foreign lobby. You don't know what...
I can also claim, hold on a second, also can claim that 98% of all candidates are AIPAC sponsored. Name me another lobby.
None of that has to do with anything. If you're foreign or domestic,
I just define
if you're foreign,
I just define what FARA is.
True teller. You guys are speaking past each other. What Destiny is arguing is that Destiny is saying if you're American, you are not subject to FARA regulation. But what I think True Teller is saying is that if you're acting on the behalf of a foreign government, regardless of your citizenship, whether you're American and domestic lobby group or not, you still have to register under FARA. And I would agree with the latter. And the reason why is because we literally saw Scott Ritter, an American citizen, get raided by the FBI, even as an American citizen, running his business out of America, etc., because of his associations with Russia. So we know for a fact now that you can be an American citizen, be based in America, but if you have relations to a foreign nation, you can still have to register under FARA.
Correct, relations. But the scope of FARA, the scope is it's for disclosure of people that are under control of foreign governments or organizations in foreign governments or organizations in foreign countries, or if they act under the order, request, or the direction of other foreign entities. If you can be American citizens.
So that kind of shifts the debate then. So let's say, so now that we've established that you can be an American citizen and still have to register under FARA.
Correct.
So now it comes down to, is that interest or that person or that group, are they being controlled by a foreign government? I think you can make a strong argument that AIPAC is probably being controlled to some degree or has some influence from the Israeli government directly, to a degree.
Well, then you have to, if you demonstrate that, then that would be a FARA violation.
I'm sure we'd be able to find some kind of connection, Destiny. Come on, man.
It is there's FARA violations, but they just get overlooked because it represents Israel. If it was any other country, you're right, the violation would be called out. So there's a double standard.
I mean, Destiny's been Israel's most vocal opponent on Twitter and Spaces for quite a while, so maybe we could register him. We know he got platformed by Ben Shapiro and the doctor right after he started supporting Israel. How interesting is that?
Hold on, I'm so curious. Do you really believe that there's like some kind of like Israeli-Jewish collusion there?
No, I 100% believe that someone got in your ear, said, yes, listen, bro, if you just take this side, we're going to get Shapiro and everyone else to start platforming you, and voila,
Norman
here you are.
Finkelstein, Max, it was Norman Finkelstein that he was platformed with, big influencer in the Jewish lobby.
Wait, actually, I mean, Destiny, Candace actually insinuated that in her own speech. She was like, they 100% have people that they find the weird kind of porn they scroll on, these degenerates, and she mentioned your name by name.
Yeah, she did that while she was doing a space right alongside Andrew Tate, who's accused of sex trafficking and rape, which I thought was funny. Listen, if you've got people like Candace Owens and you've got like other big content creators and they accuse me of being funded like internationally by people, find some third party. I will gladly disclose all of my income sources if they agree to do it as well to a third party that wants to go through them. I would gladly do that. 1,000,000%.
Fair enough. That's great. Destiny, when you went to Israel, was it all expense paid, or did you cover all of your own expenses?
I covered all of it and the expense of the crew that came with me.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's the biggest problem, too. We're giving billions of dollars to Israel that they can just turn around and fund it right back into the lobby. Like, if they want to...
You haven't proved. You have to show they fund the lobby. You have to show that somehow.
Billions of dollars, brother.
Billions of dollars is flowing through that we can't account for?
How did you get platformed right after you took this position?
Right, what are you talking about, dog? I've been streaming for 15 years. What are you talking about?
Ben Shapiro just platformed you after you were a staunch supporter of Israel. We know this is a fact.
Ben Shapiro wasn't the one that platformed me. It was Lex Friedman.
Okay. Again, you got...
I know, facts are like very unfortunate for you. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Destiny, do you read Hebrew?
No, what?
Okay.
I think that we are.
You don't read Hebrew. Okay, I'll show you the documents that are translated, just so if you don't believe the translation. I'll show you the documents that were just released 3 days ago showing the law firm that was hired by Israel to hide money that was supporting lobbies in the U.S. and how they could hide it without triggering FARA. Because of COVID, there was a lot more investigations about, sorry, not COVID, because of Trump, there was a lot more investigations about FARA, and they were worried that they would be caught funneling money back into the U.S. to fund lobbies. Okay, this was just released 3 days ago, and you're sitting here talking about the fact that like, oh, they don't have to register for FARA because they're not under the control. They're funneling money back, which is 100% illegal. Just like U.S. funding Israel is actually illegal because they hold nuclear weapons.
So the first claim that I made, was there seems to be a misunderstanding over why you'd have to register as a foreign agent. If you can demonstrate that AIPAC is taking money from the government of Israel, or that people in AIPAC are getting money from, or orders from, or directions from people in Israel, part of the government, or any foreign agent in Israel, then yeah, I would say, yeah, obviously they have to register. But it seems like you guys think that you can't lobby for a foreign interest or whatever. If you're like, you can do that. You are allowed to do that in the United States.
If you're an American, you can. But if it's funded from the outside, you cannot. And that is the issue, is laws get skirted for Israel all the time, just like us giving them aid. We're not allowed to by the nuclear pact that we have. And they have nuclear weapons. And we know they do because Hillary Clinton has it in her emails that were dumped, where she says we need to invade Syria to maintain that Israel remains the only nuclear power in the region. So why would Israel
be trying to skirt the law to send money here if they can just avoid all the FARA violations anyway? Why wouldn't they just send it blatantly and say...
And here's why. I just found it for you. So AIPAC is legally designated as the only lobby that has a special status as a 501c4 social welfare organization. That means contributions to AIPAC do not have to be made public under federal disclosure law, so we don't even know where the money actually comes from. Traditionally, AIPAC has kept the identity of its biggest donors a guarded secret, so there's no transparency. Is that a problem for you, Destiny?
Well, I don't know. How many of these large lobbies are 501c4s?
Well, why should they even get 501c4? By the way, we're talking about AIPAC.
Sure. What is a 501c4?
Yeah, it's not just AIPAC, Truth.
It's a social welfare organization.
Okay, what are the qualifications to be a social welfare organization? Do they meet those qualifications?
I'm just letting you know what the status is.
Okay, so look, you don't even know. You're mad about something. You don't even know what it is.
Like, what am I mad about?
You're saying they shouldn't. You're saying that they.
You're the one asking me.
Wait.
You don't know either.
I didn't know what it was. You're the one making the claim, dude. I'm asking you. No, that's why I'm asking you. I'm asking you. What is a 501c4? I'm not
Destiny, you're
deflecting.
It's just the status of the organization. That's all.
Yeah, but you're
What
saying
else
that
is to say about
you're
it?
implying the
But
status is wrong.
what I'm trying to tell you, hold on a sec. What I'm trying to tell you is now they can keep a guarded secret who their donors, who their big donors actually are. Therefore, there's no transparency with this organization because your claim earlier was that these lobbies are domestic. But if they're allowed to keep their donation, the source of their donations a secret, now you don't know if they're domestic anymore. So that raises questions, doesn't it? And alarm bells.
No, because it would still be a crime if you were a 501c4. It'd still be a crime to get foreign aid or foreign direction.
So just a quick one. Truth, you're not answering his question because your point is this, that they are not being transparent with the funding they receive. So there is a high likelihood, or there is a possibility or probability that they are getting funding from Israel. What he's asking, Destiny, is that if there is a large number of other lobby groups who are basically in the exact same situation, it does weaken your argument. So you do need to have that information.
Hold on. No. It doesn't weaken my argument at all, to be clear. I'm sorry. Do you think that foreign contributions, do you think,
Destiny,
I don't care. That's fine. I don't need your support. Listen, I understand. For a 501c3, it's not like we discover FARA violations just because it's like openly reported and somebody made a mistake. I imagine these start probably as criminal investigations would be my guess. Somebody's tipped off by somebody or some banking transaction is noticed by, I don't know, the Fed or some kind of like federal system. That'd be my guess for how these are found. It's not just because it's open or like, oh God, they're a 501c4. We can never find the crime now. Like,
well, Destiny,
one second, Ivy. I'm supporting your position, Destiny. I'm saying the truth needs to look into other organizations that are in the same position to defeat your argument.
Oh, never mind. I understand what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
I have a different argument.
I can look in.
One second. I have a different argument against you, but I'll leave that for a second. Go ahead.
Suleiman, the documents that were leaked were showing from 2018, Israel was trying to fund to create a ban on the anti-BDS movement to make protests. This was 2018. And because of what was going on with Trump, in the letter it says they are worried because they have ramped up FARA investigations. And they used a law firm to then distribute the funds. It does not say to which lobbies they distribute the funds. It does speak about the purpose, which was to pass a law that you cannot boycott Israeli products. That was the recent documents that were released. So we can't know the lobbies.
A 501c4 makes a social welfare group, which allows it to do political lobbying and advocacy, and they can still keep the tax exempt status like a 501c3 would get. So that's what that one does.
So, Truth, have you got an answer to that? Because I want to present a different argument about this because I have a different point.
I don't know what there is to answer. Like people, like it seems to
lobby that enjoys that kind of status, and I haven't been able to find it. One of the things it does say with respect to 501c4s, legally they are not. AIPAC legally cannot have politics as its primary purpose, even though politics is its main purpose. So they're already in violation. It just doesn't get called out because once again, there's a double standard, and it still has wide latitude to impact elections in a variety of ways. So once again, it uses loopholes, I guess you can call them, to still impose undue influence on politicians, all candidates, all congressional candidates, Senate candidates, obviously the presidency, and basically any position of power, including judgeship. So you see, AIPAC does have disproportional control over American politics, and it's a foreign lobby.
Destiny?
Oh, I'm muted. Well, yeah, I just, if we think that it doesn't qualify for 501c4 status, yeah, then I guess we would list examples of a 501c4 requirements if we feel like it doesn't.
Can you at least accept the point that they get a pass? They're just allowed because nobody has the power to stop them or register them with FARA?
Well, it seems like that's literally the opposite of everything you cited so far, right? So in looking at like this, I guess The Guardian published an article on these leaked memos. I don't know why Israeli legal teams would be trying to figure out like, okay, well, how do we avoid like having to register something as with FARA or whatever? Why would they even be asking these questions if they could just avoid them so easily? It seems like they're trying to find ways to do legal compliance that still benefits them to the most, which is like what every corporation does, right? You try to do ways to do legal compliance in the way that...
They should just be obvious, Destiny? They should just be obvious. Apparently, that's your argument.
What should just be obvious?
Why would they try to hide it? Why should they try to hide it?
No, I'm saying you wouldn't try to hide it with legal teams. No, I'm saying you wouldn't try to hide it with legal teams. You would do extra legal things, right? You would do things that are outside of the law.
So Destiny's argument is this.
Does Israel
Destiny's
have?
argument is this. One second, guys. Destiny's argument is this, and I don't think you guys have defeated it. His argument is
That's the
that
stupidest
if
argument
Israel has
Suleiman, you just
received
made.
special privilege, has received special privilege, they wouldn't be trying to skirt the laws and getting a legal team to try and find loopholes to try and ensure that they're able to fund these packs. Is his argument. I think you need to defeat that argument. Go ahead.
Yeah, who would they go to, Destiny, to skirt the law? Not experts in the law. I mean, that's just completely flawed logic.
It just seems weird that these emails would be circulating on like official like ministerial computer systems if they were trying to like break the law. And I haven't seen any evidence from any of these organizations that they were looking for ways to break the law. It just seems like they were looking for ways, like whatever legal loophole or whatever shit they could find.
Okay, well, Israel, there's a violation of the Leahy Act, which prevents the United States from funding a genocidal state, which Israel is. It's committing a genocide, yet the U.S. continues to arm and fund them.
Well, whether or not they're committing a genocide is still, that's a matter of. Also, real quick, just as a real quick thing, so I looked at the IRS rules. So, organizations described in IRC 501c4, C5, and C6 may engage in an unlimited amount of lobbying, provided the lobbying is related to the organization's exempt purpose. So it seems like they can do political lobbying. They are allowed to do that. A 501, yeah.
Do you acknowledge you were wrong?
Do you believe the Israeli lobby has?
Do you acknowledge you were wrong? Whoever said that about the 501c4, do you acknowledge you're wrong? Yes or no?
So my argument
pissers here. Oh boy.
The person who said that.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do turns, okay? And Suleiman has something to say. So just go, chill out.
Yeah, just to Destiny. So my issue is this, and because I think we're going way too much into the minutiae, and obviously I've let Destiny, Truth, and Joe go back on this, but the real issue is this, and it comes back to the very same argument we're talking about in terms of dual citizens, in terms of people who have a right to return. You basically can have a scenario where people in America can have an AIPAC lobby, American Israeli PAC, it's in the name, where they can finance that PAC to ensure that Israeli interests are put before anything else. They can ensure that politicians are put in place. So again, it comes back to this idea about now a PAC being formed that puts the interest of a foreign nation before the interest of the United States. So the argument here is there should be no PAC. There shouldn't be an AIPAC, which is American-Israeli PAC, just like there shouldn't be an American-Iran PAC or an American-Saudi PAC or American-Pakistani PAC. There should be none of these PACs because in reality, it should be American interests rather than basically people who have dual citizenship or the ability to right to return to Israel to basically fund American politics directed the way they want, even if it isn't in Americans' interest, and then later go back to Israel based on the right to return or go to Israel based on dual citizenship. That's my argument.
Sure, I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but real quick, just as a quick response to Suleiman.
Let Destiny go. Let Destiny go.
Well, you can do one sentence if you want.
Go, Destiny.
Oh. Okay, well, I was going to say respectfully, okay, because I don't know what all the laws around the world are, how every country does their thing, okay, so I can only speak from the perspective of an American citizen. In America, we have really wide protections for freedom of speech. If somebody wants to advocate for another country, or they want to advocate that we should be bigger allies to another country, or we should do things to help another country, in the United States, I think that's your First Amendment right to do that. I think it's really dumb. I don't like the people that support Russia over Ukraine. I don't like the college kids that support Palestinians over Israel. I understand you guys might not like those positions, but like personally, I don't like those, but I think those people should be allowed to do it. If kids want to protest and say, college kids for the Houthis, or if somebody wants to raise money in a fundraiser and, donate that money to, I don't know if Hamas is a designated terrorist organization, but like the Palestinians or to Russia or whatever, you should have the right to do that as an American citizen. I think it's our First Amendment right to do it. As much as I might disagree with that, I think it's an important cornerstone of American freedoms.
No, but Destiny, protesting is different to a PAC that literally ensures who your politicians are going to be. So when they say we ensure 98% success rate in terms of Congress, in terms of the Senate, I believe the percentage is about 95%, you're basically deciding who is going to be the leadership in America. You're deciding who are going to make the laws in America. You're probably likely deciding the president of the United States. That's different than basically some college kids protesting on campuses.
Yeah, but my guess is going to be that when AIPAC says that they guarantee like 98% or whatever their people, it's probably not that they're making them win. They probably just back candidates that are already pretty popular. Like most older Americans.
They demonstrated, like you had sit in Congress, and as soon as they were pro-Palestinian, they financially backed the other candidate, and they've won significantly. And then generally speaking, whomever they back, they generally tend to win. It shows the power and the level of funding they put into it and the level of impact they have on U.S. politics. It's highly.
Well, how do we know that it wasn't just that voters?
I'm going to get cut off again. I'm going to get dropped again.
Suleiman, it's the opposite. they don't fund politicians. They fund ones that are anti-Israeli. So they don't even go for the ones they're supporting. It's if someone speaks up, they will fund the opponent of the person who speaks up against Israel.
Yeah. Example, when George H.W. Bush suspended the $10 billion aid package, they dropped his funding essentially because that violated what's in Israel's best interest. Same deal with Kerry Bush and Thomas Massey's opponent. They heavily funded him. That was an exception case where they lost. But again, 98% of the time, they fund the candidate that is pro-Israel. And that's why they do actually like similar to like a birthright trip, all expense paid, so they can demonstrate their loyalty to Israel, and then they'll receive this generous funding. Destiny, the other conflict of interest here is that Israel does not have an extradition treaty with the U.S. So if these dual nationals commit crimes and then run off to Israel through birthright, they can't be transferred over to face prosecution. Don't you think that's a problem?
I don't know what the standard of extradition is for the United States and other countries. I don't know what our extradition agreements usually look like with people that we consider allies. But also, again, back to the AIPAC thing. Like, I'm sure that AIPAC, I'm sure that for AIPAC.
Hold on, guys. I can speak to that real quick. With extradition, typically friendlies almost always turn over people. You do something called an MLAT, right, with an AUSA, and typically if it's a friendly country, they turn them over right away. It's not that big of a deal. Unless like it's a Assange big case like that, they're an Australian, it's a political case, then they might go ahead and stammer a bit. But if it's like some other shit, they're going to turn them over 9 out of 10 times, which is weird that Israel doesn't have that reciprocation.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at this. Apparently, Israel literally does, as of, I don't know how long ago, for at least 4 decades, Israel does have extradition with the United States. No?
Yeah, well, they don't honor it because we know that's one of the homeland.
Wait, who's a person who's charged with a crime in the U.S. that wasn't extradited from Israel?
It's known that there's a lot of pedophiles that go over there. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head right now, but I mean, we know John over there.
Who?
Able to go over there after the fact, right? And he was one of the worst spies.
Jonathan Pollard, after Trump commuted his parole in 2020,
yeah,
he went on a private jet of Sheldon Adelson and went directly to Israel.
Yeah, but he's looking for example of when someone wasn't extradited. I think is what his Destiny is looking for.
Yeah, I can give him an example. Destiny, are you into crypto?
I mean, I'm aware of crypto.
Okay. Do you know the Celsius case?
No.
Okay. Well, the co-founder of Celsius ran off to Israel. His wife is the one who wrote the article for the New York Times. Netanyahu invested in him to open a new business there after scamming billions of money from people in America, while his partner is in jail in the U.S.
This
and only because
Alexander Mashinsky guy?
He has not been sent back. Yes, Alexander Mashinsky was arrested. His co-founder was not. He ran off to Israel and was not returned to America.
Wait, is this...
And not only wasn't returned, Netanyahu invested in his company.
Okay, and this...
His wife, who never wrote an article in her life, gets published in the New York Times about the whole rape thing.
Okay, so this guy has been like charged with crimes and Israel won't turn this dude over?
Weird, huh, Destiny?
You say that, but every other fact you've given me so far has just been dead wrong. So, I mean, obviously I'll look this up and I'll see if it's true or not, yeah.
Not a single thing I've said has been dead wrong. You can't fund Israel if they you can't aid a country that has nuclear weapons. That's not wrong. That evidence is out there. The evidence about Israel using a law firm to not get caught by FARA to fund lobbies, that's evidence that came out, and you're like, it'd be weird if they use lawyers. Who else knows about the law? And yes, it is actually on State of Israel Ministry of Strategic Affairs and Public Diplomacy letterhead. Okay, and that was released. That was leaked. And you're telling me that you debunked what I said? All you said is it'd be weird if they use lawyers.
It's not about debunking it. It's just saying that like the.
Who else would they use?
It's just wait.
No, you literally just.
Okay, wait. It's not. No. What I'm saying is that like. What I'm saying is that if is a leaked. Okay, let me know when you're done grandstanding. Okay, so a leaked letter showing that you're trying to find a way to get around some legal requirement is not evidence of like you intending to commit a crime, right? If you're looking for legal loopholes or something, it could point in that direction, but you need more than that, right? Just like me emailing a CPA and saying like, hey, is there a way I can get around like this type of like tax or whatever? That's not intent for me to engage in what?
Intent is how many parts to the law?
None of the law. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you really going to appeal to common vernacular when you're trying to lecture me about criminal law?
All right, Destiny, seriously, I want to know one thing. Destiny, do you believe Israel has an unjustified influence on the United States of America? Yes or no?
Probably not.
Okay,
Right.
that's it. Okay, whatever. That's it. We know
So
where he stands. He's a paid agent.
That's insane. That's insane, bro.
Just remember, I'm willing to put up my financial disclosure. I will put up who I get paid for against any of the other larger
Ever
figures you
since
have.
October
None of them will
7th,
agree.
and you took the
None of
Israeli
them will agree.
position,
None
all
of
of a
them will
sudden
agree.
you've been platformed. You've been platformed ever since you took the Israeli position on October 7th, and they showed everyone that if you actually
take your
serve the
medication today?
Zionists, they will platform you just like they platformed Destiny.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not going to go with that with Destiny only because like I've already knew who he was. And I think that he really believes what he's saying because that we do have Americans who are actually this lost in the sauce and will really say this. So let's just make it very like simple. Like Suleiman was saying, dead the lobbies, because we're still talking about the Israeli lobby. We haven't even gotten into like the pharmaceutical lobbies, everything, all of which is Zionist control, right? Dead the lobbies. They're not American. So that has to go. And then repeal the Civil Rights Act for me, please. Okay. So we can start getting some discrimination. So then our government won't look like it has a certain group of people in there, way too many of them. I don't care if somebody discriminates against me because I'm black. I don't care. I just want a system that works, and it's not working.
Very quickly, Destiny, since you wanted proof about the use of the birthright, essentially, it's in the nest, you can see. So many accused Jewish pedophiles in the U.S. flee to Israel based on a report. Jewish community actually reported 60 of them. Jewish Community Watch accused of child sex abuse in the U.S., and they went off to Israel to avoid prosecution. Israel's trying to legalize pedophilia there as well, by the way. Hollywood director, latest sexual predator to find refuge in Israel. You see, it's quite systematic, Destiny, whereby these Jews commit crimes in the U.S., pedophilia, for instance. There's 60 in the example, and these are Jewish sources, by the way, and then they flee to Israel to avoid prosecution.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a couple names.
So you see,
okay, if I give you a few names, then will you be satisfied?
Well, I just want to see a couple. I just want to see anything. So, like for instance, so I looked at this. I looked up the Celsius founder guy.
Since you look up the files because you might be one yourself, I'll look it up for you.
Good one. Okay.
I've seen your text messages with the minor.
To be able to talk this fast.
What?
I have a quick question for Destiny. So how are you, Destiny? First off, nice to meet you.
Yeah, let's try to avoid that.
So when it comes to, I remember
if you guys want to put up your hands, that'd be helpful too. Besides Destiny, obviously.
So when you debated,
is there any proof the CEO guy even fled to Israel? Is there? Can somebody link me information on this?
Jacasta, can I finish that thought? Because I feel like it was glazed over. Like I'm saying to cut down.
Ivy, were you speaking over me, or were you? Can you not hear me? Okay.
I can hear you, bro.
I can hear you, Jacasta. Go ahead.
All right, beautiful. So just a question. So with Destiny, I know that you debated Nick Fuentes and Suleiman on Fresh and Fit. They were excellent debates. My only question to you is, I don't think that you really had any strong arguments to defend the point that Israel is our greatest ally. Why exactly does Israel benefit us? If you don't mind, especially during the Nick Fuentes debate, can you go over why exactly Israel benefits the United States as an ally?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say Israel's our greatest ally. I would say Israel's beneficial to the United States because it gives us a strong foothold, a strong ally in the Middle East, and it helps us stand in opposition to countries like Iran, and it strengthens our relationship with Saudi Arabia by working as resistance to Iran. Generally, democracies seem to favor like alliance with the United States, so I think, it's good for us to have.
I'm answering your question. Mordecai Yomvov, he was actually found guilty, He pled guilty in 2002 to abusing 3 boys before fleeing to Israel to avoid prosecution. He took off.
Mordecai, okay. Again, just as a real quick thing, I looked up I'm going to look this guy up. I looked up the Machinsky guy. It seems like I can't find anything about what you were saying with that he fled to Israel or any of that.
And he actually assaulted 3 other boys.
Okay, you're just going to ignore that. Okay. 10. How do you spell the Mordecai's guy's last name?
Mordecai, you can spell Yom Tov, Y-O-M.
Okay.
And by the way, this is in Jerusalem Post. You know what? I'll send you I don't know if I can send you a message. I'll send you. It's a Jerusalem Post article. I don't make stuff up. Y-O-M-T-O, V as in Victor. I'm going to send you the link, the original link, no screenshot, to your... Okay, well, you've blocked me, so I can't send you anything. You're going to have to unblock me, and I'll send it to you.
Don't worry. I think I found the article. I'll read it.
Very good. Very good.
Destiny, what did you say?
Destiny, maybe you can get Israeli citizenship, too, in case you get prosecuted for your crimes.
Okay. Let's talk
Enough of these cheap damn shots with Truth Teller. Always has something smart to say. Listen, I don't like Destiny, but let me just make this clear. He's obviously a very intelligent man. He's way more articulate than you, Truth Teller. But the fact of the matter is this. Everyone, even with a small IQ, understands that Israel, the Zionist lobby, has a strong influence over America, except you. Except you. And here's the fact is you're not stupid, bro. You know what you're doing.
So one second. Destiny said that he looked up Machinsky. Joe, I think that was your argument. He said that he couldn't find anything on there. Joe, have you got anything to back up your point?
Yeah, I'll go get the article. But he's his co-founder. Yes. He was also guilty in the court. He just wasn't there to be tried.
Yeah, I see both of them were indicted. I see what Joe was saying. They were indicted, but basically they got sued civilly by the SEC, and they were indicted federally as well, criminally.
Yeah,
so he's correct.
And the one guy ran off to Israel, and it was not sent back.
Yeah, so there's So
and then his wife runs. His
so just
about rape.
Yeah,
New York Times.
Real quick. Okay, hold on, real quick. I'm okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Real quick. I understand. This is going to be hard. Yep. Oh, I'm muted right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Hold on. Yeah. So real quick. Okay. So, I don't know how difficult this conversation is going to be to navigate if people aren't aware of like how criminal law or any of this works. To extradite a person, okay, my guess, I don't know what I'm saying, my guess is going to be you need an actual criminal charge. So I'm looking at this Mordecai guy, and I could be wrong. I'm just looking through this Jerusalem Post thing. It sounds like this guy wasn't actually charged with a crime in the United States. People just suspected him of having committed it, but he wasn't like a suspect in a criminal investigation. That's what it looks like.
Israeli court found him guilty of child molestation.
Of a person he molested, was that in Israel?
This was in 2002.
Wait.
He did this in America and then
Hold on.
he escaped.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm reading this article. It said, while staying in Israel, he was accused of sexually assaulting a young girl.
No.
And then after an Israeli court found him guilty of child molestation in 2002, he served time in prison and was released. So it sounds like he did this crime in Israel. I don't think he was charged with any crimes in the United States.
Israel.
He did flee. Yes. No. You're conflating. He did flee. It sounds like he did flee to Israel, but he wasn't charged with a crime in the United States.
Okay, another alleged sex offender.
Wait. Do you acknowledge for this guy? Wait. Do you acknowledge you just made this guy up? You made this up.
Truth. Did you say he pleaded guilty? Did you say he pleaded guilty in America?
In 2002. Yes, in America.
In America.
So using 3 boys before fleeing to Israel.
Okay. So
wait.
He said he pleaded guilty in America.
I'm gonna since you like to lie, you're a pathological liar. I've heard you on the
put it in the nest.
I'm gonna actually create a thread out of this now, and then I'm gonna tag you in it too.
No, wait. Truth. Your claim, put it in the nest because we've got people listening and they want to see the veracity of what you're saying. Just put it up in the nest and then people can see whether he was charged, whether he pleaded guilty in the United States or not. Go ahead.
Okay, one quick favor. Make sure to include inside of that Scott Ritter was twice convicted pedophile. You make sure to add that.
I think I might be looking at a different guy. Hold on, wait. To the other guy's point.
Who the fuck is this random guy talking? What the fuck?
To the other guy's point, I'm looking at this. It looks like the name that I'm looking at is another guy. So his article might be correct. I haven't looked at it yet. So I think I have a different guy.
Ivy, dude, no more randoms just coming up.
Destiny, you can unblock me and I'll send you the correct article so you can stop lying to people. You're embarrassing yourself.
No one is. I'm not. I don't know why you would imply I'd be.
For someone to unblock you, Truth. You're pathetic.
Truth, you just put your evidence in the net. You don't need to send it to Destiny because it's not just about Destiny. There's like 3,000.
Okay, what is the nest? Where is that?
It's just going to be above. Once he posts it, I'll let you know.
I know you're on your computer. You got to scroll up a bit above the people's names, and then you'll see it above. It's there. People could put links and stuff like that.
Okay.
We got.
I'll wait there.
You can, Myron. Sorry, I put one up there too. You can scroll left and right as well.
You put the DOJ stuff in there, right? With these guys getting indicted? Yeah.
No, I put the thing about the Guardian released the documents from Israel showing they were trying to skirt FARA law and fund lobbies in the U.S.
Okay. And that's I can put the DOJ thing in there, but yeah, they got indicted, bro. I looked it up. Both those Israelis got indicted for the Celsius thing and charged criminally.
Hey, Myron, I can speak to the Celsius one. I've got a 20 million claim in the case, so I know the case really well. The co-founder is S. Daniel Leone, that's the guy you're after. He's now got a startup with the Prime Minister's Office of Israel, and one of the biggest parts of the 35,000 ETH was stolen from a company called Badger DAO, and Badger DAO, the investors in it was family members of President Netanyahu. GK8 was the other company, which is an Israeli security company. and all of those were involved in the fraud. It was a $10 billion Ponzi scheme where $3 billion went missing. Alex Mijinski's facing up to 115 years. He'll be
but I understand all these things are bad, okay? But I'm just not seeing the fleeing from the U.S. using, like...
Yeah, no, he's currently in Israel, and he's the co-founder on the same level of Alex
who's
Mijinski.
Who's currently in Israel?
Daniel Leone is the co-founder.
Okay.
Shlomi Daniel Leone.
S. Daniel Leone. Okay. Co-founder, Celsius. Okay. So now when I look this story up, I'm going to see that he is he's avoiding charges and avoiding criminal everything by hiding in Israel, and Israel's not cooperating with an extradition.
I don't know anything about extradition.
Simon, I've put up the link and also the story about Mordecai Yom Tov. You can see the assault took place in Los Angeles, and after the individual was freed on bail, he took off to Mexico and then went off to Israel to flee and avoid further prosecution. There it is, Destiny. And this is a Jewish source, by the way, just for you.
Okay, I don't know what a Jewish source has to do with anything, but it sounds like if he's
Jerusalem Post, so you can't say, oh, it's just some third-party source.
I haven't said, so to be clear, I haven't said that for anything. You're literally creating straw men and then crying about them. I haven't said that at all.
Take a look at it and then see if you still want to defend the files. Go ahead.
Okay, no one here is defending files except for probably you, because you seem really obsessed with talking about them. So the question is...
Guys, let's not go at each other, okay? Like, you guys have been going at each other for a while.
I have not been going... Oh my God, going at each other? Just to be clear, this kitty called me like 15 times, okay? If he wants to not go at me, that's fine. I won't go back, but I can't... Yeah, geez.
I know, I told them this.
Okay.
We're going to move on.
Okay, so this link is going to appear up near Myron Gaines's thing, or...
Yeah, just scroll up and you'll see it, and you can flick through, you could tap.
Myron, I'll DM it to you so you can send it to him so he doesn't have any excuses. Give me 1 sec.
All right. Yeah, but I think the stances are pretty. I think the issue here is foreign influence in American government with AIPAC. And then the other issues that stem with it, whether it's the extradition situations, funding a nation that has nuclear weapons, which we do know for a fact that Israel does have nuclear weapons. JFK actually found out about this.
Wait, why are you saying, is that against international, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so Joe was talking about this, that we can't be giving foreign aid to a country that has nuclear weapons, if I'm not mistaken. Joe, what was the
Wait, why not? We don't send foreign aid to ever to Pakistan or to...
It's the nuclear agreement that we have with Russia and all the other nuclear countries.
What is it? What's the name of the agreement?
De-escalate, that we would not fund it. Let me look up the exact name so you don't get your panties in a twist.
Okay, hold on. Just to be clear, wait, hold on. Just to be clear, for me, hold on, wait, don't give me another one when I haven't even looked up the one you sent me, okay? For me to ask what the name of the treaty or the agreement that you're referring to is, it's not getting my panties in a bunch. That's just me asking to make sure that you're giving me a real source and you're not just speaking out of your feelings, okay?
When you call other people kitty fucker, you're going to get it back. So
first of all,
look up the name,
you talking about me getting upset about asking for a source has nothing to do with giving it back. Number two, that guy called me 15 times before I call him a kitty fucker, okay? So calm down.
All right, Destiny, I put up 10 more names of Jews who committed pedophilia and then ran off to Israel. You can see for yourself. It's in the nest. I DM'd it to Myron as well.
Wait, hold on. To be clear, the claim wasn't...
calling you names.
Yeah, the claim wasn't that they ran off to Israel. The claim was that Israel doesn't cooperate with the U.S. for extradition, right?
That's correct. None of them have been sent back to America.
Wait. Has the United States requested extradition on any of these people?
Why would they?
You have no idea. So I don't even have to look at these now. So you're telling me that in none of these stories... Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So you're okay. You're okay with
but Destiny, that's a false argument, because in reality, what happened between the U.S. and Israel is, I believe it was in the 70s or 80s, the extradition law was changed. And then Israel had to extradite to the US. Then there was that famous case of Samuel Shinben, where basically Israel was unwilling to extradite. It caused a big frenzy in the United States. And then finally they agreed that he would be tried in Israel, not the US. So after that, what's generally speaking happened is America don't ask because they don't want basically to be exposed of the fact that Israel is unwilling to send people back. So Samuel Shinben was a major well-known case. There's actually academic papers written on this in terms of the geopolitical implications of how America was embarrassed by Israel because they wanted him back for extradition. I believe he committed murder, and then in the end he got tried in Israel because they were unwilling to send him back. So after that, basically my point is, it's rare that United would ask for someone back because they just don't want to get embarrassed again.
Hold on, Peter might know the name of this thing. Peter, what were you going to say about nuclear weapons and Israel? You can speak now.
So that's Samuel Shinben. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I don't know why I won't let him speak. Yeah, you got to unmute yourself, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, that's the Israel has nuclear weapons. They illegally got them. They stole them from us. I'm sure you know that.
At the very least, I'm pretty sure they stole. I don't think they stole the weapons, but I'm pretty sure they stole the research or some of the R&D from us for it.
They stole the uranium.
That would make sense, I guess, because them enriching it would probably show up on satellite.
Okay.
So
Myron,
it did. That's actually. See, yeah, that's precisely how they identified it, actually.
I've got another Israeli article. It says Israel's law of return lets criminals abroad run from the law, and Israel routinely refuses to extradite its own citizens who've committed various transgressions in different countries around the world. One of them actually is a famous one, the Tinder swindler. He committed his crimes.
Oh yeah, that is a famous one.
Yeah, it's a good one actually. But there's also a bunch in America too. I've given the names. So when they are asked to extradite, they just don't. They refuse to. I can put that article up as well if you like.
Guys, I think it's important to draw a couple of distinctions here. So we've got obviously Israeli influence over
Dominic, I just want to point out we've covered every base here. So crimes are routine.
just as a real quick thing, because I'm trying to figure out
Israel, and then when extradition is requested, it's rejected, so they could hide in Israel and avoid prosecution in America or Europe for various crimes committed, such as pedophilia. Thank you.
Gotcha. So I linked you a thing of a Brooklyn man being extradited from Israel and sentenced for heinous child abuse. This happened in 2023. I'm linking a story relating to that Yom Tov guy.
You found one.
I'm linking a story. I'm linking a story from the Yom Tov guy that you brought up before, and it says here the DA's office told CBS News there has been no request to extradite Yom Tov back to the United States. So I mean, like the idea that they do have an extradition agreement.
Yeah,
so you went from they have no extradition.
One, I don't believe you.
I can't finish. Let me know when you're done.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So the initial claim was we don't have an extradition agreement. Now, if I'm being generous, you could have meant that, well, we do, but Israel doesn't honor it. Okay, that might be the case. So now I'm trying to find cases where they don't extradite people. So now I found some, and I'm saying, well, wow, are they not extraditing? Then your claim is, well, they just don't even bother asking, which is still fair. Okay, maybe they don't bother asking because they know they're not going to say yes. But now I found you an example of them asking to extradite somebody and him being extradited. So I need something more now because it seems like I can find at least one guy. I could keep looking to see who else has been extradited. But if I find two, is that enough? Five?
An exception isn't the norm because I just showed you that they routinely reject extradition.
You have to show me one. Show me one.
Criminals.
Show me one.
I just showed. I gave you a list of 10.
No. Don't give me 10. Just give me one.
I'll present you the article right now, which states that Israel routinely rejects extradition requests by the U.S. for the various criminals that flee there.
Okay, just give me.
If you look at the
gish galloping, dude.
That I had, you'll see. Hold on, you'll see the pedophilia and rapists run rampant in Israel because they escape from various parts of the world to seek refuge in Israel. Israel is actually known as a safe harbor place for pedophiles and rapists because there's actually also a sexual terrorism law in Israel that allows for rape to take place by Israelis.
Yes, you're gish gallop. This is a gish gallop. When you just say irrelevant things to like, you're gish galloping.
Gish gallop because you don't want to condemn Israel for rape. I can talk fast through Destiny really fast, faster than you actually without actually being on cocaine or any kind of type of drug.
Okay.
Well, I'll slow it down
so
for the audience.
It's a gish gallop because
I can talk fast and think fast. I can do too.
That's
truth.
Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you
Truth.
here, it's quite simple, is that Israel is a rape and pedophilia capital around the world because they essentially legalized it and they harbor rapists and pedophiles.
Hold on. You got to chill out, man. Look.
Yeah, I sent you two more. Three more examples now of Israelis being extradited.
That's what he's trying to say. Basically, what he's trying to say is the rate at which they're able to get guys extradited from Israel to the United States to face justice is asymmetrical to the amount of people that are able to go there and seek refuge and not be properly extradited.
Yeah, but that hasn't been demonstrated. That's a nice claim, but...
Well, he told you, he sent you 10 different cases of guys that weren't able
Hold on, I can't just sending me 10 different ones and then talking about article, like, let's just give me one. If you give me one solid one, I'd be like, oh, this is pretty bad. But the fact that he's unwilling or unable to give me one solid one and just wants to, like, give me this deluge of names kind of points to the fact that his argument's probably not that good. Fuck me. Is my stream still on? Hold on. I think my computer parts get here in like 2 days. My shit is progressively freezing on my computer for opening too many links. I don't know if Google's eating too much memory or... Oh my god, I feel like it's gonna fuck my VOD up if I... Chrome is like actual hellspawn, dude. Jesus Christ.
Acting like these laws are all unilaterally applied. We're not addressing that there's favoritism towards Israel and towards Jews and all of these legal systems and all these matters. Here's the other thing. There's also Zionism, and then there's Jewish supremacy and international Jewry, which are what contributes to the influence to begin with. So we're getting into the nitty gritty, and we're kind of getting lost in the tree. You know, we're kind of getting lost a little bit from just going so deep on certain issues where it's kind of losing the general point. And also, I do think it's important for people to bring up the other factors into the equation other than just, you know, Israeli influence over America, because without the two other factors, it wouldn't be possible. So just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Max, I think it's good to go in the weeds for a reason. We've heard all those things for 6 months, right? Like, we've heard about the generalization. Destiny's pushing back on details, which I don't mind. I actually like, because I don't like the surface level shit. I like when people go into the weeds, because when you look at the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961, America is not even allowed to be funding Israel.
Oh, that's
okay. Wait. So just as a wait.
That's the nuclear. Hold on, Joa. Is that the nuclear thing you've been looking up?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, just real quick. So I sent a couple stories of people who have been extradited. I'll ask one more time. Is there an example of one person who the U.S. has like requested for extradition or something that Israel has said, no, we're not going to do that? Can I get like one example of this?
Joe, all I'm saying is people don't really...
I gave you an example. I said Samuel Shin Ben, he was a famous case where he murdered someone, and this is actually, there's a lot of academic papers on this. I've already explained this to you. This was after the extradition treaty was changed, where there was meant to be extradition to the US. He murdered someone in the US. America asked for him. Israel refused to send him. There became a diplomatic issue. And then finally, Israel just tried him in Israel, refused to send him. And then he went to prison in Israel, but he was never sent to America.
Yeah.
This caused major issues in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at this and it looks like, so the extradition between Israel and the United States seems like it started in, I think it was 2002. But at this time, Israel didn't have an extradition agreement with the United States. This happened in 97.
That's not right, Destiny. Look at the academic papers. The extradition treaty, I believe, they didn't have it before. Then it was changed in 1970 something. I can't remember the exact year, but it was quite late on this. But just check it. Everyone's Google Samuel Shin Ben extradition.
I put it in the
US.
nest. Solomon, I posted it in the nest for you. Yeah, you see it's the last two paragraphs. It was in 97. It was in Maryland.
It's a well-known case. Academic papers are written on this. The fact that it actually caused diplomatic issues between the U.S. and Israel because basically America was basically exposed as being basically weak.
Destiny, I think the main thing here. Look, we can get in the weeds with a bunch of this stuff, but the reality is this, man. They have undue influence on our politics. They have undue influence in media representation. They have undue influence on social media platforms with censorship, etc. There's just a bunch of influence here that's unchecked, man. I mean, I know
that's great, but I understand. I'm sympathetic towards that point of view, but you understand that if when I start to push on particulars, every single thing falls apart, then it means that it probably all feels like a conspiracy theory, right?
Here's the thing. No. And here's the thing. Literally, Joa, we gave you an example of them not extraditing with the guys that got indicted by the Department of Justice, and then I'm looking at the Shin Ben guy, and it seems like he wasn't, but it seems like at the time they didn't have that agreement, and there was a huge issue because people were like, wait, what the fuck? We need to extradite this dude. We're supposed to be friends, and then they redid their extradition stuff, so now we're able to extradite people. Yeah. Well, we'll see if they actually pull through on it and bring them in.
Well, but I linked you 3 examples of people that had been extradited in the past year and a half, I think.
But there's also plenty of times where they don't honor it as well.
And I'm asking for one of those examples. One example of that. Who's one example of the person?
I put another example in the nest.
CBS is reporting 60 cases.
Wait, just give me one. I just want one example.
Well, they're talking
I'm trying
about
to
60.
tell you,
I can give you one specific.
Joa, U.S. Israeli citizens Baruch Ben Yosef and Ken, that's Fuchs, I guess that's how you say it, hiding out in illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank.
Joe, just do me a solid. Put that link with the 60 people that they refuse to extradite in the thing, so Destiny has it and he can refer to it. Please put it in the nest. So Destiny, there's your example. And then as far as this whole nuclear thing, he just referenced it, that we shouldn't even be giving them aid because apparently they violate this, you said this Nuclear Power Act, where, can you go into more detail about that? 1961, what's it called? Joa?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking for the link to the other thing.
Yeah,
there's a law that I put in the nest, which is the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961. There's 2 amendments to it. One is called the Symington Act, which says specifically the amendment stipulates that the United States cannot provide economic or military assistance to any country that delivers or receives nuclear enrichment or reprocesses technology without International Atomic Agency energy safeguards. We don't know because we've been recused of investigating whether they have nuclear missiles or not. Engages in the transfer of nuclear weapon technology without adhering to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Agreement, which is the one I was talking about they're in violation of as well. Then there's also another amendment, which is the Glenn Amendment, which basically stipulates we are restricted from funding any further aid to countries that possess nuclear weapons. So both those amendments in the Foreign Assistance Act and the fact that they're breaking the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty show they are not abiding. We are not allowed to fund them, period. And we know they have it. And that's why even recently, in the very beginning of the war, when one of the guys in the government said we should just nuke Gaza, he was kind of told, whoa, don't say that.
That was Amichai Eliyahu, the heritage minister. And he did it twice, by the way.
He did it twice. And then they said, don't do that. Why? Because in doing that, you're admitting you have nuclear weapons. And then America can't fund them.
And that's the very same thing that they are sanctioning Iran over as well.
By the way, I put up in the nest.
What message?
Hold on, everybody.
What message does that send to Russia?
Hold on.
What message does that send?
Hold on. Destiny, again, I think this proves kind of like, again, if another country had these situations set up, we would not allow it. Having nuclear weapons, stealing uranium from us, influencing our elections.
Well, here, can I just be, listen, and I'm reading about this right now, okay? But like, this is like my question. Do we not give like aid to like France or the UK or India or Pakistan? Like, don't these countries all have nuclear weapons?
They're disclosed. They're registered with the IAEA and NPT protocols, as all other nuclear powers are. Israel is not.
Well, wait. But that means, to be clear, hold on, wait. To be clear, because you just told me that we don't send aid to people with nuclear weapons. Now you're saying there are additional.
I didn't say that. I never made that claim.
No. I clarified in what I read. They need to be part. They need to follow certain safeguards that are in place. I gave you the names of them, and I also gave you the name of the treaty, which they're not a part of, which is the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty.
Okay, and then
Israel's not a part of.
And then what? Right? So what is the amendment that I should read? You said the Symington Amendment.
The Symington and the Glenn Amendment.
Okay, all right. Give me a minute. I'll just read it.
We'll let that care because I know what Destiny's going to do. He's going to want to read it and then go ahead and come back with counter arguments, which is totally cool. We can go ahead and move the discussion to other people so they can talk while Destiny reads this. He needs some time.
Myron, I put up in the nest the most grievous example of where the FBI actually put up a $1 million award to bring back the killer of O'Day. This was a crime committed in California, and the 2 perpetrators, 2 Zionist extremists, Baruch Ben Yosef and Keith Fuchs, they're hiding out in West Bank settlements, and the FBI has put up a $1 million for their return. And the awareness has been made all the way up to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who, like so many Israeli figures, has dutifully stonewalled inquisitors. They refuse to honor the request to extradite these 2 suspected criminals.
All right, fair enough. I think we've established that, and I know Destiny's reading through the nuclear thing right now. We can go ahead and go to some hands here, but let some people come up and talk or whatever while Destiny reads that. Make it fair. Here, IV, True Teller, I'll let you guys kind of get it going with the hands, and Suleiman, I'm going to step away from the phone real quick.
Sure. Ivy, you're close, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
I found a few cases, Destiny, but also it was someone was saying something about like laws. There's 1954 extradition law, which was amended in 1999 to allow, but there are conditions that Israelis can demand. Like it has to be dual criminality. It has to be a crime in Israel and in the U.S. or whichever country. They have to guarantee a free trial, and they can serve their sentence in Israel if they get convicted. So there are strict things. And then one of the cases was Meyer Lansky. It was significant in organized crime. He actually was not allowed to be extradited to the U.S. Only after returning voluntarily. He had to face trial in the U.S.
Okay, so just on a quick thing, first of all, you only need to give me one. I don't know why you guys keep trying to give me like 4 or 5 or 6. Just give me one and I'll look into it. So just looking at the amendment on the on this Foreign Assistance Act, so it seems like we provide foreign assistance to Israel, India, and Pakistan, who all don't abide by the treaties, I guess, that would be required in the Symington Agreement or the amendment, and then the other amendment as well. But apparently in the United States, the president is able to offer waivers to countries if he wants for whatever reason. So it seems like of those 3 countries, we provide foreign assistance, even though they have nuclear programs that don't adhere to this.
Yeah, but Destiny, in order to offer a waiver, they would have to admit that they have nuclear weapons.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's not always true for a waiver.
Israel practices what's called nuclear ambiguity. They will not confirm, deny, or discuss that they have weapons. That's what they've done consistently.
That's fine, but I'm just saying that like you could have a waiver without. It's not like you're asking for a pardon, right? Where you have to like admit guilt to a crime. You could have a waiver.
That waiver needs to be filed, Destiny. That's the thing. The waiver needs to be filed, and I guarantee you, the American people are not going to stand for an American who waives a restriction. And after announcing that Israel has nuclear weapons,
we send aid to India and Pakistan. Do you acknowledge that they both have nuclear weapons?
Part of the pact. I'm going to look up what you just said.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're part of the pact, but I'll look it up.
Gotcha.
Hey guys, while Destiny's looking up this stuff, I just want to say current events. Like for example, we have Kim.com being extradited. It took several years for the U.S. to actually get Australia to finally play ball. New Zealand. You got and the other thing is, didn't Trump just go on X like? Literally a few days ago, talking about how he finally was able to strong arm some Latin American countries into extraditing people. I mean, countries all over the world. Dubai is a haven for criminals. So, it's an impossible standard. Just like Israel have absolutely no, you know what I mean? This happens all over the world. Is what I keep saying. It sucks and it shouldn't happen, but it happens. And
Kim.com's example isn't good because the New Zealand government was complicit and actually was trying to send him to the US, including the Prime Minister. And in reality, what happened was Kim.com sued, appealed and went to this final Supreme Court, I believe, or whatever their standard for the Supreme Court is. And then he lost just now, and hence why they're extraditing him. But it wasn't like the New Zealand government refused. They were literally trying to extradite him as well.
Yeah, I mean, so
and also
right.
There has to be deeply connected to the Hollywood lobby and the MPCC and Chris Cook. You got to look a bit deeper.
All Zios.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's government. It's what I'm saying is the copyright lobby, the MPAA, RIAA, right? They had SWAT teams before, like raiding grandmas, right? I'm a libertarian. I don't like any of that
Who's
stuff.
this guy talking right now? I feel like I recognize the voice.
You guys just happen to.
I don't know how to see who the is talking in this horrible format. Oh my God, I hate this.
All of this is not just Jews. That's what you guys got to understand.
All right, Greg, so I'd like to respond to that point. I put up in the nest something else. You can take a look. You see 17 of the...
what the is the nest? What the is the nest? I don't know what the nest is.
Jewish managers.
Is this the nest?
With respect to that.
Okay.
And also right after 10/7, it was both Bill Ackman and also Alan Dershowitz who essentially called up all of their connections within the business community and all the law firms that Alan Dershowitz knows to not hire any pro-Palestinian students that were graduating. Right. That's exercising undue influence on behalf of Jews to prevent those with opposite political views. They're just passive. These are just people, members of committees that now cannot get jobs, and they've been ostracized now from the legal and business community.
You have to link
members of pro-Palestinian communities. Wouldn't you say that's undue influence, Destiny?
No, wait. You have to link. Wait. Why are you linking pictures? Why are you linking pictures?
Truth.
I just want to apologize to Destiny for the name calling. That's it.
Okay. He apologized for the name calling. Destiny, go ahead.
Okay. I see this thing. Jews headed the Federal Reserve. Am I in the right nest, or is this the wrong nest? I hate Twitter Spaces. Oh wait, do I have to keep clicking to the right?
Yeah, there's right and left.
Truth, by the way, about what you said. I just want to address what you said because I like some of the stuff you say. You should look in your DMs, by the way. I want to have a longer conversation with you. I can't just do this in like 30 seconds. But I will
right now.
tell you
Who
this.
the f is talking? How can I tell who's? Oh, this
Klaus,
guy.
you look at the
Why does it not show him talking on my screen over here?
That guy's German.
Oh no, it's
Father
not
was
him
announced,
talking. It's this
clearly
guy.
Not a Jew. I mean, you could go on and on. If you cherry pick Jews, yes, you're going to get a lot of Jews. Obviously, you could say Bolsheviks were all Jews. I mean, Candace just said Stalin was a Jew. I mean, good luck, with that. It's just, listen, you gotta hate it everywhere, not just when Jews do it. Is what I'm saying, right?
Also, yeah, wait. So what am I supposed to do with this big picture? It's just a picture of Jews of the Federal Reserve.
I don't know what you're looking at. That's as far as the directors of the Federal Reserve go, who would essentially decide when to raise or lower interest. But if you want to talk about the Federal Reserve and how it was established,
Well, no, wait. What was the one example of what was? Give me the strongest example of that extradition thing you were talking about.
So that's the one right next to it. It starts with perhaps the gravest outstanding.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, got it. Okay.
By the way, truth teller, the Federal Reserve was established by one Jew. Yeah, there was one Jew over there.
No, it wasn't one Jew. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't. I have the whole list. It was established by multiple legacy families, including Rothschild, Lazard, Lehman, Kuhn & Loeb, Paula Max Warburg, Jacob Schiff.
You're doing this
Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, he does this so much. It's so annoying. I don't know why people don't realize this.
The majority of the founders of the Federal Reserve were Jewish. Yes, there were a couple.
I have literally looked this up. I've done the research.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I
let's
don't
go.
know if you have. Well, then you'd look at my pinned tweet. I'll put up the entire list.
I'll go. Listen, I'll have you on my show for 1 hour. Let's go through this together. I don't think we can delve deep. One guy. Pick one guy. Sure. Besides the one Jew, pick one guy.
I just said Lazard, Lehman, Kuhn & Loeb, Jacob Schiff, Paula Max.
Greg,
Warburg.
you're doing that again.
He just does this, yeah.
Whoa! This is silly. So, Greg, you're being disingenuous, right? So, like, I don't like it when truth goes on long tirades myself. I always tell him to shorten it. But in this one, you're being disingenuous because he gave you one name. You then said, no, there are multiple names. I mean, there's only one. He then disproved your point by giving 3 or 4 names. And then you were like, no, there's only one. He then mentioned the 3 or 4 again. And you're like, oh, you're bombarding me with names. So either when you're basically saying to someone, there's only one, and then the person then presents a few more to you, there's a reason for that because he's basically debunking your claim. So you're being quite disingenuous.
Fair enough, Suleiman. So if I debunk one of those, is that enough? Can I just take one?
You have to debunk all of them.
Wait, can I? Okay, wait. Can I on this? Wait.
There's only one.
Okay, wait. On this thing. So this, I see
the list of names.
Did my shit?
Go ahead, Destiny.
Okay, he has. I see this tweet about perhaps the gravest outstanding miscarriage of justice involved 2 Zionist extremists. Okay, so I'm looking at this Baruch Ben Yosef guy. Where does this guy have like outstanding like criminal charges or something? Is that?
Did you not read it? Okay, I can read it. It's fine. Just give me a second. I'll pull it up. Okay, so perhaps the grievous blah blah blah. So there they remain wanted for questioning over the killing. In
No. This is just
California.
this is your tweet. I'm asking for an article. You're not a source on this, right?
Sure. The article is the previous. Well, I provided the link in the previous one. Fine, I'll put the link for you.
Well, no, that's okay. If it's in the previous one, that's great. I can read this. Okay, thank you. All right, I'll read this. Thank you. Okay, I got it.
If you unblock me, I can DM you all this stuff too, right?
No,
you can
okay.
block me afterwards.
True,
I don't care.
true.
You don't need to
True.
follow me. I just saying don't.
Come on, guys.
Unblock me so I can send you stuff.
Come on.
No, he's got access to it. It's above that, right?
Can we go to the new?
Don't peer pressure him into unblocking you. He can decide to do that. Craig, so you understand the argument that basically
he's not even.
Is there was only
they
one.
just want to question him. He's not even charged with a crime.
3 or 4 names. So you don't need to if you debunk one, there's still another 3 names. You need to debunk all the names to basically prove your hypothesis that there was only one. Right, that's that.
Yeah, Suleiman, I totally get your point. It's a good point, right? The format of me being able to speak for 30 seconds at a time does not lend
30
itself.
seconds.
No one said you only have to speak for 30 seconds.
Oh, all right, fine. So then we actually have time because last time I spoke and then I was brought down. So
yeah, that was early on. It's changed now.
Okay, and then so just in reading this, so I'm sorry, so I'm not taking this argument seriously anymore. I'll give you one more chance if you want, but these U.S. Israeli citizens you're citing, these people don't look like they have criminal charges. 1, it seems like this attack happened in '85, which was before any extradition agreement, and 2, they're just wanted for questioning. I don't even think there's been an extradition request put in for these people. So if you can give me one example, just one example. The $1 million isn't even the
$1 million reward, and Benjamin Netanyahu was issued.
Wait, $1 million for what?
Guy and he stonewalls investigators.
Wait, $1 million.
Guys in for questioning.
Hold on.
They know they
no. The $1 million reward is for information leading to the killing of Oda. That's it. That's what's in your article. So do you acknowledge you were wrong on that?
Yes, they want to find information on it. There's a 1 million. But did you read the next part? Awareness of the case has gone as high as Israeli Prime Minister, who, like so many Israeli figures, has dutifully stonewalled inquisitors. Why is that?
So,
Shouldn't they be
what do you mean?
cooperating as an ally? Why is Netanyahu
Hold on, no. You've moved the goalpost so hard. Hold on. Wait, nobody says he's stonewalling investigators. Nobody said that he's not.
It's in the article.
No. Yes, has dutifully stonewalled inquisitors. People asking questions like a reporter. That's not. So there is no extradition request. All right.
You need more language. Okay, fine.
Well, no. I just want to be clear.
Now you're just playing games.
I'm not playing games. You said that there were people charged with crimes that weren't being extradited. Neither of these guys have been charged with a crime, and the $1 million reward wasn't for them. It was for information about the killing of Odeh. That's it.
Yeah, it's in the article. Okay.
Yeah. But not what you said is in the article.
I literally read what was in the article.
You didn't, though. You said that the...
Truth, you need to come with another example. Yeah.
Also, actually, hold on. I'm so sorry. Wait. I don't want any more examples. Because it looks like the bombing suspect of the guy that did kill this dude actually was extradited. Looks like Robert Manning leaves Israel to face trial in the killing of a Manhattan Beach secretary. Officials also believe that he's responsible for the death of an Arab activist. Ending extradition proceedings that lasted 2 years, a former LA Jewish Defense League activist, was put aboard a jetliner in Israel on Sunday to be returned to Southern California to face charges. The 1980 mail bombing death of... looks like of the Odeh, Alex M. Odeh, executive director of the Southern California. Yeah. So this has completely destroyed your argument. So yeah, okay, I'm good on this.
Destroyed what argument? They're still living freely in Israel. What are you looking at?
Did you hear what Destiny said?
I like to see a source there because he doesn't post anything. He's just saying it.
Who do I send things to?
You can just...
you can send them to me or post them in the nest if you know how to do that.
You can send it to Myron, me, or Ivy, or you could post it under this space, and then Ivy can put it in the nest, whichever you prefer.
Okay. All right.
Suleiman, can I ask you a question? By the way, I was always curious. I saw some tweets of yours, like a year. Sure. I saw like tweets of yours like a year and a half ago. Maybe they're screenshotted. I don't know. You can tell me if they're fake or not. But like back then, you were saying stuff like me. You were saying that the Uyghurs and the Rohingya Muslims and others, right? People don't give a crap. And when it comes to Palestine, people care a lot, and we all know the reasons. You said that. So I'm just wondering, like, do you still hold by that? Because like recently, I understand that Jews are.
Yeah. I'll understand. I'll answer the question. I think it's a fair question. So yeah, I do think that there is a number of other atrocities that occur in Rohingya and various others that people are not highlighting. What's happened with Israel and Palestine is that the genocide has perpetuated the situation significantly. In terms of the Uyghurs, my position actually isn't that they're being genocided because they're Muslim. So there's three different positions. I hold the third position. So there's one position which is kind of the pro-American position, which is that the Uyghurs are being genocided because they're Muslim. Then there's the Russian position, which is that the Uyghurs are not being genocided at all. It's all fake. And then my position is that yes, there is oppression going on against the Uyghurs, but it's more because of geopolitical reasons and because they're Turkic. And therefore, China knows that if they lose the autonomy of that area, Xinjiang, to US, which is what US is trying to do, then it will cause severe geopolitical issues for us. So that's my position on there. So yeah, I do think that, and I've always said that like there's a lot of Muslims a lot of people who do not highlight that enough. Yeah, I still hold that position.
And I appreciate that, man. Like, that's the real conversation I have with you. By the way, you guys don't know me, but I work, for example, with the Rohingya Project, Mohammed Noor, to help Rohingya diaspora out of Burma.
The same with Rohingya. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, like, I really do care, about civil wars and about diaspora.
But the problem, let me be clear, the problem with Israel-Palestine is that the oppression has happened a really long time, but then the specific incidences in time where it becomes extremely excessive and extremely genocidal, and to this one, which I believe is an ongoing genocide and an ongoing attempt to ethnically cleanse. So I think that's what has exacerbated the situation. So hence why, if you look at my tweets, I posted about Israel and Palestine before October the 7th, maybe about 10-15 times. I did a few spaces on it, maybe 4 or 5 spaces on it. I nearly got cancelled for a couple of them. But after October the 7th, obviously, initially when I went in, I thought I was going to be the only person doing it, because on October the 7th, everybody seemed like they were going to be on the Israeli side. And I thought, look, like, I need to defend the oppressed. I was surprised to learn on Twitter that there ended up being more people who did it. But because I was the first one, that's why I blew up so much.
Yeah,
and,
no,
and
I remember you and Khaleesi.
And the reason why October the 7th got disproportionate attention is because the President of the United States went on national TV and said there was 40 beheaded babies, and the entire media enterprise of the world told us something that was completely different to what turned out to be reality. So we were told that we need to focus it. It got the entire world attention. How much attention do, the Rohingyas get on national TV?
You're right.
Relative to it.
You're right. And by the way, I don't think the world would have reacted any less if there were 0 babies. I think just the fact that so many civilians have been murdered in a surprise attack. But I will say this. I remember back in the Paris attacks when 150 Parisians were murdered by ISIS. On that same day in Beirut, in Lebanon, 150 people pretty much were murdered in a soccer stadium, and no one, the entire world lit up in French colors. No one lit up in Lebanese colors. It pissed me off so much. I built an app specifically because Facebook had that thing with your profile. You could put only the French colors. And it pissed me off because I agree with you. What I disagree mostly is when people don't talk about Sudan, don't talk about Yemen, don't talk about the horrific scenes in Aleppo and Homs in Syria, or Grozny, Chechnya, or nothing. And then this thing comes. Of course it's bad. Of course people getting their arms blown off is terrible. But what bothers me is...
No, but this is a false norm, because the difference is that people do speak out against those issues. The difference here is that the mainstream media, the United States, and various other people are playing defense for what's going on. So in any other situation, it's like in ICC, the ICJ, we're going to take Russia to the ICJ, we're going to take various other countries to it. But when it comes to Israel, those laws aren't implemented. And actually, when you look at the defense of the genocidal acts of Israel and the defense that the West has, all it's done is delegitimize its position as basically being the moral compass of society. So I think Israel is basically, in their attack or in their genocide, is actually destroying Western civilization, the respect of the West in the entire world, in terms of basically following those ethics. Now, I posted Destiny's evidence. He sent it to me. I've not read it myself, but I've posted it in the Nest. So guys, do check that out. It's on the top. It is from the LA Times. So Destiny, if you want to tell everybody what that was, the bombing suspect. Okay, that's the extradition that did occur of Robert Manning.
Suleiman, by the way, to your point, I agree with you, but where I disagree is I think, for example, Yemen, the famine was much larger, millions. And to your credit, by the way, to your credit, you posted about the famine in Sudan. I wish Myron would do it because he's from Sudan, but you did it. You actually posted about millions in Sudan facing famine. Here's my point.
In Yemen, just in terms of Yemen, also, like, Andrew Tate is someone who's funding significant amount of money in terms of what's happening in Yemen as well. So there is there's not this singular thing that you're saying. There may be some people who are just singular, but vast majority of people actually speak out against any kind of oppression that's happening.
Well, this is my question to you, Suleiman. This is my main question, right? I view every human life equal.
And by the way, just to add to that, Greg, I literally was probably one of the few people who spoke out for basically the oppression of a Christian woman in Pakistan, who was basically imprisoned, I believed falsely. I exposed that she was being imprisoned falsely for false claims of blasphemy. And I would like to say that I was quite monumental in terms of the exposes that I did to get her released. So, like, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I'm just going to do it to back Muslims. I'm just going to... Any type of oppression that occurs, whether minor or small, I'll always be on the side of oppressed.
Good. So will I. And this is what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah, so are you on the side of Palestine then?
So where I disagree,
bro, this guy yaps so much. Oh my God, holy shit.
Of course, you should see what I wrote on October 10th. I said Israel should not go into Gaza. I mean, it's right there. You could see what I wrote. And I've been trying to, I tried to get it.
Cool.
I can
I appreciate your comments. I thought you were Zio.
Okay, on a quick thing, can Truth Teller admit that he was totally wrong to bring up this case?
Truth Teller,
this is like the worst.
Yeah. Truth Teller, do you want the tweet is in the Nest? Have you read it?
No, I found him another case of Julius Caro.
No, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done looking at cases. I'm sorry.
Truth, you need to. Anyway, the guy escaped prosecution and went to Israel, avoided prosecution for 19 years.
I'm not. Hold on. I'm not going to play this game of debunking every single thing you send me over and over again. I need to hear you for. I'll look at it if you want. If you admit that you were completely wrong on this case.
Completely wrong about what? The fact that Israeli Jews have committed pedophilia in the U.S. systematically.
Now you're broadening the claim again because you don't want to give an example.
That's the claim that was made.
No. Yeah, that was the claim that was made, and I asked you for an example.
And I just proved it to you.
I asked you for an example. I asked you for an example. Another example. Yeah, but I need you to admit the ones that I'm debunking. I debunked this one about Manning being extradited, this very specific case you gave me, that he was extradited to the United States to stand trial.
Destiny, you want to admit you were wrong about the Celsius one now?
I'll take a look.
No, I haven't even. Everything I looked up to the Celsius one looked like you were wrong. What am I looking for the Celsius one?
Let's do the nuclear one since you did speak about that, right?
I actually know Alex Mashinsky, by the way, for the record.
I don't like this. One second. One thing at a time. So, look, you have to be fair. Look, everybody knows. Look, I debated Destiny. I disagree with him on a huge number of issues, probably almost all issues. I debated him twice, but you have to be fair, right? So you guys have given him cases. He's checked them and provided retorts. Truth, he's given you a case of Manning in the nest. You should read that and see if you can debunk his point or accept his point about that. Joe, you made a point about the Celsius, then you quickly moved to nuclear. I'll let one thing at a time. What's your point about Celsius case that you want Destiny to accept as being whatever?
Well, Celsius, both Myron and Simon, who Simon knows more about it than anyone else, knows that he fled there and then was actually even funded by Netanyahu.
Who? What's the name?
Open up his next scam. Simon, can you pronounce his name? I never remember how to say his name.
No, to be exactly precise, S. Daniel Leone is the co-founder. Shalomi Daniel Leone, Newt Goldstein, and Alex Mashinsky are the three co-founders of Celsius.
Who's the one that did that fled to Israel and avoided extradition or whatever? That's the one I'm looking for.
He's in Israel. I don't know exactly whether he fled, but he's in Israel.
No, what's his name?
Oh, right. S. Daniel Leone. And then I think the S stands for Shalomi.
Also, I just want to put a sense of proportion on this. We're talking about one guy. Like, I actually met Alex Mashinsky back in 2018 when I was starting my company. And let me tell you, crypto, the guys that started SafeMoon are, indicted. The guys, FTX guy is indicted. That guy's Jewish, by the way. There's a lot of guys that are indicted for crypto, okay? And Dubai is probably a bigger haven. Dubai is probably a bigger haven than Israel for those guys. But what I want to say is, why focus on one guy when millions of people, and this is where I want to just focus with Suleiman just for a moment, millions of people in Yemen.
Why are we moving somewhere else?
Go ahead, truth teller. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, sure.
But yeah, sorry. Give me any crypto. I've been in Bitcoin since the beginning. I know every single case. So
okay, just real quick. Is the Daniel Leone guy, was he charged with a crime?
No, he hasn't been charged with anything, but he committed the exact same crime.
Okay, I got you. Okay, sorry, I'm not mad at you. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so then this Daniel Leone guy is not an example either then. So that case has been debunked now because this was brought up as an example of a guy who was fleeing extradition.
He fled there. He
hasn't been charged with a crime.
No, to be fair, it's not fleeing. He's in Israel.
Yeah.
They both committed the same crime. Alex Mashinsky is currently facing up to 115 years. S. Daniel Leone got nothing other than starting a new company with the largest customer being the Prime Minister's Office of Israel.
Sure, but it sounds like he wasn't.
I'm just giving you the precise information. Now do with that as you want.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, so this has nothing to do with extradition or anything like that. It sounds like the guy was never charged with a crime.
No, there's no extradition case yet. His
point is
no extradition yet.
No, his point is this, that basically this guy, Leon or whatever his name is, has escaped to Israel as a safe haven despite committing a crime. Now, there's not an extradition request, but
hold on, wait. Did he escape to Israel?
So his argument, Destiny, just to be clear, his argument isn't.
Wait, real quick. Did he escape to Israel, or he's just Israel? Is he just Israeli?
He partnered with Netanyahu.
He is Israeli. Yeah.
Okay, wait. So So he's just Israeli. He didn't escape to Israel. He's an Israeli citizen. He's part of this.
That's the point. Definitely, you're missing the point. So there's one point which I think that you have a strong argument for, which is your debate between you and Truth, which is American request for extradition. The other argument is that Israel is being used as a safe haven by people who commit criminal acts and then escape there based on dual citizenship in order to make sure that they don't stand trial or basically face the consequences.
I understand what you're saying.
Him and his partner partook in the exact same act. His partner got what Simon said, 100 years. He escaped to Israel and benefited from being
You keep saying escape to Israel. It sounds like he's just lived there his whole life. He's Israeli.
Destiny, you got the wrong suspect.
He's a dual citizen. The whole problem about dual citizen and right to return, Destiny.
Yeah, he's a dual citizen, and it's unknown at which point he was in America and which point he was in Israel. I'm just giving you the facts.
Okay, but so Alex Mashinsky was the CEO of the company, right? So why would we assume that they committed the exact same crime?
No, they both committed identical crime. They were both implicated in the exact same way.
What do you mean by that?
Whole thing together. Well, okay, so there was 7 different counts of what Alex Mashinsky is being charged for and what the company's being charged for, and Daniel Leone was involved in all of them as well.
Involved in that, according to who?
Destiny, they got hit with the same indictment.
According to the SEC, the CFTC, the FTC, the DOJ, it's a criminal case as well as a fraud case.
They have the same indictment.
Market manipulation of securities, market manipulation of cryptocurrencies, and there's fraud and for lying. There's about 7 different cases. I'm just saying.
Okay. Gotcha. So then, if
they're co-defenders on an indictment.
Criminal stuff. Okay, hold on. So criminal stuff. It's a very simple question. Has this person been indicted with a crime by a U.S. court?
Yes, Destiny. It's a DOJ. Yes. Everybody, shut up for 2 seconds.
Jesus.
It's a DOJ release at Destiny. He got federally indicted. Both of them, same indictment, same charges. They got hit. They got hit civilly, obviously, right, by the SEC from a financial standpoint, and they also got hit criminally as well from an indictment. It's a DOJ press release. You Google their names, it's going to come right up. DOJ.
Wait, okay, so DOJ, and then give me DOJ Leon. What?
Yeah, just type in their names, and DOJ is going to come right up top thing. DOJ.gov, U.S. Attorney's Office.
Okay, and what was the name of the other guy?
So the 3 co-founders are Nuke Goldstein, S. Daniel Leone, and Alex Mashinsky. Alex Mashinsky is a Ukrainian that is an ex-IDF soldier, moved to Israel.
Okay, so I'm looking at the DOJ announcement on July 13th, 2023, and I see there's an indictment charging Alexander Mashinsky, the founder and former CEO, and then I see...
Ronnie Cohen-Pavon.
Yes, Ronnie Cohen-Pavon, yeah.
And Daniel Leone, no charge, nothing happened.
So he wasn't charged.
Wait, so then he wasn't charged. There is no indictment with his name on it. I don't know why people were saying co-defender, indictment until...
There's a difference between a charge and an indictment.
Please stop. Whoever just said that, please stop talking ever about anything. Please stop. Okay, so there is no indictment of this guy. There are no formal charges against him right now. So
correct.
There is. So then the idea of him avoiding extradition or whatever doesn't make any sense. Which I understand. You're not saying it, by the way. The guy that's giving me info, I understand that.
Say that. I didn't say about extradition. I made my argument very clear, doesn't it?
Okay, sure, yeah. But so we don't even have evidence that he has committed a crime, I guess, other than maybe...
He 100% has committed a crime.
How do you know?
But nothing's... Well, I know because I'm involved in the whole case.
You're involved in the case, you have knowledge of it?
He was the co-founder. He was complicit in the whole thing. The entire fraud was perpetrated by both of them. I'm a shareholder in the company.
Okay, and then can I ask in good faith, right? Because again, I haven't heard you say, I'm sorry, I'm being very aggressive because the other people, but you haven't said anything crazy, I don't think, right? Is there a chance that the DOJ might be working on something on this guy and an indictment might be unsealed later on for this guy? Or do you think he's just somehow avoided all charges?
I think speculation that he's avoided all charges, but it's plausible what you said.
Okay, also, do you think there might be a chance that he's cooperating with investigators and that's why maybe he wasn't named in this indictment, or?
That's also possible, yeah.
Okay. So then this example is
I'd like to talk about your article.
Okay, well, so this example has also been defeated.
Mashinsky listed on Bank to the Future. I didn't know, Simon, you started it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember there was CoinList.
No, I got scammed. I got scammed by him in 2020. I've got a 20 million claim in the case. He started in 2018, so I was one of the victims of the case.
I mean, the thing is, in that crypto boom, a lot of people were promising yields that are impossible in a bear market.
Whoever's talking right now, this guy's a yapper and he's crazy. I don't know why this guy's allowed to waste so much time. Holy shit. He sounds like history speaks. He's just like yapping so much.
This was fraud from day one. He sold a $50 million. He said that he raised $50 million. $18 million was missing in 2018. It was a Ponzi scheme from day one. It was insolvent throughout the whole case. And yes, the Terra Luna was what exposed it. But it wasn't the Terra. He wasn't just going down in that case. It was a complete fraud. And meant much of the money got siphoned off into Israeli companies. And there's deep connections between the co-founders that have now started, that are now currently in business with this, with the Prime Minister's Office of Israel. And one of the biggest cases of the loss of funds was from a company called Badger Dow, and Badger Dow was co-founded by family members of President Netanyahu.
Well, that's definitely that sucks.
Okay, so as a quick
can I just add one more thing though? I'm in the crypto space, and
he's
I
just
remember
saying
the
random
Wild West
shit.
of
This guy yaps
2019.
so much. Oh my god!
And the thing is, like, all of these things are pretty much zero-sum games. Like, I know the guys from Everrise, the guys from SafeMoon, and a bunch of other ones.
I don't know why this guy's allowed to talk. He must be friends with Soleimani or something.
Basically indicted right now and facing charges. So my point is this. Yeah, you can find Jews, obviously, among cryptocurrency schemes, but you can also find many other people. In fact, some good people like Pavel Durov that had to go to Dubai, and the SEC was after him, and he had to, like, right now, ton is growing, but he had to, like, almost, like, give back the money. So what I'm saying is...
I don't know what this has to do, with all due respect, with any of our arguments. I don't think anybody here is defending the whole crypto space.
No, it's just focusing on Jews. I'm saying in any area, it's like, oh, there's the Jew, and this proves that Jews are like, I'm trying to say there's so many other people in that same space that are criminals, you know, that this is not a pattern.
They don't
of
get
Jews.
to go escape to another country and avoid prosecution. Destiny, when you're ready, I'd like to discuss what
Dubai.
you mentioned.
Yeah, people
sure, we can discuss the next thing. To be fair, the Celsius thing was defeated, but go ahead.
I'd love to finish the nuclear thing, which is everyone butts in. I was talking about the nuclear thing, and then 5 people jump in.
Go ahead, Joe. Everyone let Joe finish.
Yeah, because Destiny, you mentioned India and you mentioned Pakistan. You're correct. They're not part of the treaty, and they did get funded. Here's why. Because in 2006, there was an act called the Hyde Act that was signed that allowed for Israel to get funded because they were found to use safe practices around their nuclear weapons. Pakistan, there was an agreement signed in 2009. I can give you the full name, which is the...
I believe you.
Okay. Because of the fact that because of the Afghan war, and Pakistan became like a front line for them, U.S. had to lift the sanctions that they placed in 1998 in order for them to cooperate in helping with the Afghan offensive.
Okay.
Right? So then they allowed to fund them. With Israel, there is nothing that has been signed to allow them to get funding, although they are...
Wait, I thought you just said the Hyde Act, or was that supposed to be for someone else?
That was only for India.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say Israel.
They were found to use safe practices.
So you're telling me that if I were to go and search for amendments for Israel funding on any of that, you're telling me I wouldn't find anything relating to that?
You will not find anything.
All right, I'll go search for it.
I'll tell you even why you can search, but I'll tell you why you won't find anything.
Probably because Israel maintains a position of nuclear ambiguity, would be my guess.
And also because the U.S. is a hypocritical country. Because
sure. Okay. Also, for the truth teller guy. Okay. So what is your issue with what I sent you?
So first of all, your article doesn't mention anything about those 2 suspects that are still hiding in Israel, Baruch Ben Yosef and Keith Fuchs.
Well,
those are still hiding.
Well, so wait. They're not charged with any crimes.
They're wanted for questioning, so they left.
Wanted for questioning is not charged for a crime. That's not charged for a crime.
Well, they're suspected of committing crimes.
No, they're not. If they were a suspect of committing a crime, then they would have a charge.
Your article doesn't even address these 2 guys.
Yes, there's nothing to address. There's nothing to address.
Your article addresses something completely different.
No, it's the same guy. You said that there was $1 million reward for these guys, but there wasn't. There's $1 million reward for finding the killer of Alex M. Odeh, and that's what this bombing was about.
To their arrest. Look, you're nitpicking on words.
I'm not nitpicking. I just like to be correct.
Your article addressed, if I may, your article addresses Robert Manning and Rochelle Manning, who have nothing to do with those 2 suspects that continue to hide in the West Bank. despite requests for their return.
Wait, do you acknowledge they were all accused? Wait, if you're not gonna, wait. Are you really gonna gish gallop? Can we just go point by point? Very simple.
We're not gonna gish.
Then just do point by point.
What do you mean gish gallop?
Just point. No. So we can let's just go. You can respond. You can do your next thing, but just point by point. You said You just point by point. You said that this guy has nothing to do with the other two. Aren't these people
separate?
Aren't these people all accused or suspected of killing the same person, Alex M. Odeh? Isn't that who's referenced in the
two people that I mentioned in my article?
Can you answer that question, yes or no, first, please? Can you please answer my question without gish galloping and doing weird shit?
Okay, what you did is literally called a straw man. You took a different guy who's, yes, he is being extradited, but you didn't talk about the two that are not being extradited.
I'm going to ask the same question again. Were they all suspects in the same crime? Were they all looking, or were they all like being questioned, or had like they were related to the same killing?
Well, the guy that you're actually talking about, first of all, he's involved in other crimes, and he was actually convicted.
Can you answer that question? Can everybody say that he won't answer this question? It's a super simple question. It's not nuanced. Were they all involved in the same?
Hold on, Destiny. What is the question you want to answer? And you're telling it. Please answer the question. Go ahead, Destiny.
Yeah, the two people that he's bringing up, Baruch Ben Yosef and Keith Fuchs or whatever, right? They apparently were wanted for questioning over the killing of Alex Odeh, but the person that the law enforcement officers finally decided or figured out or wanted to charge with the crime of killing Odeh was Robert Manning, right? So that's the link for all these people. They were all like wanting to be questioned, and then eventually this last guy was suspected of killing Odeh. All of them around the same person.
So what's the question?
So the question is, were they all, you said that in this article, it said an FBI reward of $1 million remains unclaimed for information leading to the killing of Odeh. The person who killed him was, or at least the federal authorities believe it was, Robert Manning, who was extradited from Israel. It wasn't these two guys. It was Robert Manning, and he was extradited from Israel.
Actually, he was convicted in 1972 for the
was he extradited or not?
You're talking.
Was he extradited or not?
Just a second. How long did it take?
Doesn't matter.
Convicted in 72. No, hold on. How long did it take? Tell me. What year was it? How many years did it take for him to be extradited?
I think it was 2 or 3.
Really? So you're saying it happened in 1974, 1975? Maybe you should check your dates again.
You're looking at a conviction date. A conviction date is not the same as the extradition. Yes, you're looking at the conviction date.
How many years did it take to extradite him after he fled to Israel?
I don't know if that was in the article. Well, you tell me. How many?
I want you to tell me. Read the article. Why should I do your homework for you?
I already sent you, because the question wasn't how long it takes to Israel. The question was if he was extradited or not.
Okay, look, the question, I think, that, like Destiny said, it was about whether extradition is done or not. Because I found several cases where it took prolonged legal battles, but they were still extradited at the end of the day. So what's the issue? It is extradition period, right? Or is it the length of time? You guys are unmuted.
Well, we're talking about multiple things here. One of the two suspects, they were never extradited. They're just hiding in the West Bank. And again, investigation stonewalled, essentially.
That's not true.
A separate individual. Well, they haven't been returned, have they?
No, there is no active investigation that's been stonewalled. You're lying.
It appears in 1993. That's when this article is from. He will be extradited for a crime he committed over 20 years ago while he was hiding in Israel. Not exactly instant cooperation with our greatest ally, right?
The federal authorities have also called Robert Stephen Manning, 41, a suspect in a 1985 bombing. If he was extradited in 93...
Okay.
How is it over 20 years ago?
Manning, who was convicted in a 1972 bombing at a home of an Arab activist in Hollywood, 1972 to 1993. So this guy was involved in multiple crimes.
Okay.
So let's see what his rabbi said. Extraditing a Jew, a citizen of Israel, throwing him out of his homeland is certainly a disgrace to the independence of the state of Israel. Says Rabbi Elazar Waldman, blah, blah, blah. You can read the rest.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait, real quick. Hold on, real quick. Wait, what is, I don't even know, you're all over the place. Can you give me succinctly, what is the claim? I'm asking you, give me, what is...
72 bombing in Hollywood. It took 21 years to bring him back to the States because he was also facing other charges.
I'm asking you, what is your claim here now? I don't even know what your claim is anymore.
So the claim here now, first of all, the two guys that I initially talked, the host is having issues.
Hold on.
Myron, they never got returned.
No, oh, dude, you keep...
Myron, reset your space.
You're the one who added Robert Manning to the equation.
By the way,
not
Simon,
me.
if you can follow me, I have something important.
Because I'm looking for the people who killed this guy. You keep saying convicted in the 72 bombing. Are you implying that he was convicted in 93 for the 72 bombing? Is that what your understanding is?
No, I said he was convicted in 72.
Okay.
It took till 93 to extradite
Myron,
him
you got
back
host
to the
connection
States.
issues. You're gonna have to reset. Or
reset the space.
Destiny, did you hear what I said?
Is the implication that he fled to Israel and they...
Yes, he fled to Israel and avoided, obviously, going to jail.
Okay, but then he was extradited.
Yes, in 93.
How long do extraditing processes normally take?
21 years, do you think?
No. Look,
Do you have any
the bombing
idea?
was in 1980, guys. The bombing was in 1980, apparently. But it shouldn't take 13 years, right? But didn't you say, Destiny, they were investigating other people first, but then they...
No, he keeps trying to sneak that in. It sounds like the police wanted to question two other people, but they were never charged with a crime or anything. That's not...
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is maybe that is why it took 13 years, I guess. But you guys might have to look into that.
Sure. I guess the original claim then is wrong. There was extradition. He was convicted of a crime. Now maybe you think it took too long or whatever. That's fine, but that's a fundamentally separate claim. But my guess would be that extradition probably always takes a long time. That's my guess. These are probably really complicated international. That would be my guess. But you don't even. Do you know what the average time is for an extradition of a citizen?
Okay, Destiny. He was convicted in 72. Convicted, not charged. Convicted.
Yeah, I understand.
And he didn't get extradited for 21 years. I don't think it should take that long. But
Really, how long does it take? But you don't even know what the average time is,
well,
right?
if it's your greatest ally, shouldn't it be quick? Do you think it should take 21 years?
I could speak to this real quick before I go.
Please, Myron,
a normal extradition shouldn't take that long. I mean, for example, I was able to go ahead and get a guy extradited from Turks and Caicos within a few months. It really depends on national relations, and for a country that's as close as they are with us, it should have been much sooner than that. 21 years is actually pretty ridiculous. But
why does it say at the head of this article, it says ending extradition proceedings that lasted 2 years? This makes it sound like it took 2 years to extradite him.
That's probably when they put in the MLAT.
So that is where there's confusion.
Yeah.
He was convicted in 72, but he was also accused of other charges and crimes committed in 85.
Suleiman, can I ask you a question after this? Before
that's where there's confusion.
Hold on,
real quick, me
guys.
creating the confusion
hold on.
here.
You're a truth teller. Chill, bro. You got to chill a little bit sometimes. What I'm saying is that it should have been much sooner than that. The reason why it took 2 years might have been that might have been when they formally put in the MLAT, which is a document that you put forward with the U.S. Attorney's Office to go ahead and get the process started. But 21 years, regardless, is still pretty ridiculous. Even 2 years, I'll be honest with you, is a very long time for an ally country. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to go live here on Fed Reacts here in a second. I'm going to let you guys rock out in the space. I just want to let you guys know. So I'm going to be muted for like a while. So Sully and Ivy, if you guys can run it. But I don't want to end the space since I know you guys are having good dialogue here. So I'm just going to mute myself and you guys can rock out.
Thanks, Myron.
I appreciate it, Myron.
The case of Jimmy Julius Caro as well, who fled in 2000.
No, I'm not going to keep playing hopscotch with you. Like your points have been defeated. Yeah, you've been destroyed. You said that people were never extradited, and now you're saying, well, it took too long to extradite somebody. So it's not like you're not.
I didn't say that. I said there were multiple cases involved with this one guy, and the two suspects that I also talked about, they were never extradited back.
Okay. Just as quick, because I'm taking off. You said again, you misstated this one more time. Do you acknowledge that they are not suspects? Why do you keep calling them suspects?
Because they're wanted for questioning.
That's not. Do you think that's a suspect in a crime?
Why did they flee and why are they hiding in the?
Can you tell me why? Can you tell me? They could be going for any number of ways. Do you acknowledge that wanted for questioning and suspect in a crime? These are not the same thing.
I see. So they're wanted for questioning.
No. Do you acknowledge that? Yes or no? If you were wanted for a crime and you're
why would somebody call? Why would the investigators call someone in if they're not suspects?
For questioning?
So then why would they leave if they have nothing to hide?
Well, who says they didn't have anything to hide? Maybe they did have something to hide. Maybe they hold on. You don't know if they're hiding. They could have left for any number of reasons. Maybe they are. Maybe. Oh yeah, there's the pivot. There's the pivot. You've been annihilated. Here's like a tip for your next debate. Bring some actual solid examples and don't expect people to jump through hoops disproving every single thing you say and then keep throwing more. But next time, thank you. I can feel stronger that Israel's a good country, I guess, because they actually do extradite their own, and I wouldn't even expected it. So thank you, sir. I appreciate the free YouTube content. Peace. Jesus Christ, dude. They're worse than the anti-vaxxers. Like, how many, like this guy, the Celsius dude was never fucking charged. These guys were, apparently this dude was extradited for, I don't even know which crime he was necessarily extradited for. Like, holy fucking shit. And then it's like, okay, we'll do this. So what about these 20 names? Christ, I'm not going to fact check every single retarded fucking point you bring. The funny thing is that I bet if we were to look, I bet I could probably find some better examples for him, right? The problem is he hangs out in a lot of like Nazi spaces and they all share the same fucking information. But I bet if we look, I bet we could actually Google search Israel refusal extradite felony USA. Let's see if we can find one example for this guy. And then if you're a Nazi and you want to argue with people in the future, then you can have an example next time, okay? The good life of criminals who flee to Israel. Let's see if these guys bring somebody up. Manning's extradition was requested in 91. Yeah, well I mean the article said 2 years, yeah. Do you think that scenario may have played out in reverse with an American committing a crime in Israel and fleeing to the U.S.? My guess is going to be that extraditing any national from a country is probably always going to be like a couple-year process. That'd be my guess. I could be wrong. That'd be my guess. This doesn't interfere with his birth. No extradition request has been filed yet. In the past, France was in no hurry to extradite French criminals who committed crimes in Israel and escaped to France. If France asks for his extradition, it's clear. Oh, because France didn't do it either. Yeah, like nobody likes to extradite their own citizens to other countries. This is just a thing that like nobody likes to do. It's not special with Israel or the Jews. Like nobody wants to extradite their own. This isn't related to extradition, but like to the United States, like if the ICC, if the International Criminal Court would even arrest an American soldier, we would go to, is The Hague in Amsterdam or is it in Denmark? Or not Amsterdam, but in the Netherlands. It's a city here. Okay. I'm pretty sure I think it's called the Hague Act. Like we would just go to war with them, like, and blow them up. Literally. General comments about extradition are always flawed due to different stance on it. The U.S. faces the problem due to the possibility of the death penalty. Oh, sure. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Fuck, how annoying. How boring. Okay. We'll do one daily thing. Ugh, we're stalling on this too hard. Oh, the Hague Invasion Act? Holy shit, the Manning dude served his whole sentence for the 72 bombing. It had nothing to do with that. Yeah, that's what I thought. I couldn't tell from the reading of my article, but it looked like he had, I couldn't tell from the article, had he really fled? It looked like he just served his sentence because he was convicted for, and they didn't say anything about fleeing, but maybe he didn't. It just wasn't listed in there, but yeah, Jesus.